For the last 2 years, the home of the Nickel Trophy has been the home of the Fighting Sioux, but the Bison hope to give it a new home today. NDSU is 38-7 at the Fargo Dome, but 3 of those losses have come at the hands of the Sioux. It's been nearly 2 decades since these bitter rivals have met with top 10 rankings. It'll be loud, intense, and a whole lot of fun. They meet every year about this time, and it's always a supercharged afternoon, but it's been nearly 2 decades since they've come in this highly ranked. Number 3 NDSU, number 8 UND today in Fargo for the 107th time. Hi again, everyone. I'm Steve Hallstrom along with my broadcast partner, Pat Sweeney. And Pat, there's always a lot of motivation behind this game. Certainly both teams looking to prove a little something. You take a look at the national rankings, the conference standings. Both teams figure to give us a whale of a game today.
Well, you talked about the national rankings, Steve. Both teams in the top 10. An NDSU win would solidify their position in the national coaches poll. A UND victory would probably vault them ahead of the Bison in the national poll. But most important is the NCC race, a 4-way tie coming in. NDSU, UND, South Dakota State, and Omaha all at 2-0. The loser of this game, however, is not out of the race as it used to be in years past when this game ended the regular season. And as we take a look at the offensive matchups, well, the obvious edge goes to North Dakota State, led by the powerful running game of Lamar Gordon and that veteran offensive line, senior quarterback Ryan Johnson. UND's offense still struggling to find itself a little bit. They were held to 2 touchdowns last week at Mankato. Nobody was really satisfied with that effort. They're looking to bounce back today. On the other hand, UND's hallmark has always been defense, and these numbers bear it out, allowing an average of 17 yards rushing a game. They held Mankato to -28 a week ago, and per play, UND allowing an average of 1.9 yards. Unbelievable. Bison defense isn't bad either, but UND a little stronger on the numbers.
There are a couple of head coaches in this one, too, that have piled up some very impressive numbers early on in their careers. Dale Lennon, in his second year at the helm at UND, is 13-2, 1-0 against NDSU. And Bob Babich, 29-9. This is the 107th meeting in the series. UND leads at 59, 44, and 3.
And the Nickel Trophy was not stolen this week. UND had a special hiding place. Of course, the coaches wouldn't tell us where it is because they want to use it again in years to come.
Both teams are 4-0, and both are looking to own bragging rights for the next 12 months. Kickoff literally just seconds away.
Live and direct from the Fargo Dome, it's North Dakota College football. Today's game is the annual clash between North Dakota and North Dakota State University. Sponsors for today's game are Ford and your local Ford dealer. MDU, Montana Dakota Utility. And your local Bremer Banks of North Dakota. Now, let's go to the Fargo Dome for the play-by-play call of today's game.
For the opening kick, and Pat, there's always something special about any home game, whichever school you go to, but this one, it really is unique, isn't it?
Well, when you can pack 19,000 people in here on a Saturday afternoon, and a beautiful Saturday afternoon at that, this must be quite a draw. And this begins a streak of regular season games. It'll all be indoors from here on in as UND moves into the Alara Center next year.
Cameron Paterka with the kickoff. Deep to field it, Eric Nelson and Richard Lewis. Lewis takes it a yard deep in his end zone. He'll bring it out. He's got a seam and some speed up to the 27-yard line where he's hauled down. And now let's take a look at the Cook Sign starting lineups.
Ryan Johnson, senior, quarterback, Wayzata, Minnesota.
Lamar Gordon, junior, running back, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Craig Tangen, sophomore fullback, Grand Meadow, Minnesota.
Eric Nelson, senior wide receiver, Andover, Minnesota.
Shane Detman, junior, wide receiver, Bismarck, North Dakota.
Jared Peck, junior, tight end, Bloomington, Minnesota.
Jeremy Lure getting the start at fullback. There was some question this week how this would go, and he gets a block early on. Lamar Gordon out across the 30 to the 31-yard line where he's tripped up Eric Schmidt in on the tackle. Now let's meet the rest of the Cook Sign starting lineups.
Chuck Clabo, sophomore, left tackle.
Paul Keller, sophomore, offensive line.
Johnson Shanko, senior, center, Max, North Dakota.
Josh Abel, junior, offensive line, White Bear Lake, Minnesota.
Peter Campion, junior, offensive line, Fergus Falls, Minnesota.
Ryan Johnson under center. They'll give to Gordon again on the second play from scrimmage, and it's stuffed. Right in the middle, number 90, Eric Halverson in on the stop. Ben Dixon also in there from his lineman position, and NDSU now looks at a 3rd down and 8 from its own 30-yard line.
And those are the two so-called rookie starters on the defensive line for North Dakota, Halverson and Dixon. Both have played well. Of course, they have a lot of help with the man in the middle, senior Scott Schultz of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
Jeremy Lure checks out of the game. The Bison will go with a single back, double receivers right, single receiver left. Ryan Johnson staring into the teeth of the Sioux defense, looking at 3rd and 8. Good protection, throws out, passes too high for Jared Pack. Almost picked off by Brad Wagner, the strong safety. Coming up from his secondary position, the Bison go 3 and out on their first possession. Aaron Peterson will come in to punt, and bad news for NDSU. It looks like offensive lineman Pete Campion is down on the ground and trying to get his senses again.
Boy, after last week's game, what did the Bison lose? About 4 guys to injury in the South Dakota game. This is the worst possible start, worst possible sight they want to see to start this game. I don't think anyone wants to play South Dakota anymore because the week before, UND lost 2 guys to injury in that game, and Jed Perkarevich and Luke Schleisner, both of whom are back. But this is serious enough for the trainers to come out, and it's going to take a little time here.
Well, the Bison have certainly been plagued by their share of knee injuries this year. Clay Brose, the Bison outside linebacker, is out. Luke Schaefer, starting free safety, is out, a pair of seniors there. They are not playing because of knee injuries. And Steve Knorr last week, as Pat mentioned, the South Dakota game sustained a knee injury as well. And he will play this week. That's the good news for NDSU.
Well, here's the play again. Tight end Peck was well covered. Actually, Sioux had 2 guys in his vicinity, just off his hands, and Brad Wagner not able to make the interception, but that was the inside linebacker Travis O'Neill on the initial pursuit.
Let's go down to sideline reporter Dan Ashworth. Dan, what can you tell us?
Guys, as we just come down to me now, you got the card out. Pete Campion, a severe injury to his foot. We don't know specifics yet, but anytime you bring out the card for this big guy, it's not very good. I'll scoot over to Scott Walken when he gets done tending to Mr. Campion. We'll give you the full details coming up in a little bit.
The backup for Pete Campion at right tackle is Shane Ebert, a 6'6", 355-pound redshirt freshman. In the inside, the guard in the center positions, Jason Kopp, a 6'3" senior, is the number 1 backup. But at the tackle position, it's a different situation. We'll have to see if we see Mr. Evert or if Bob Babbage comes up with a different idea. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back to the Fargo Dome. No score, 13-23 to play in the first.
Your friends at MDU thought you could use a moment of quiet, relaxation, a brief moment to appreciate the simple things in life. It's all part of our role of being a safe, reliable provider. Montana Dakota Utilities Company, in your community to serve.
Stay tuned at halftime for the Papa Murphy's halftime report with Dan Ashworth. Had all the pageantry, all the celebration, all the excitement surrounded by the game, and here we are just a minute and a half into the ball game, and there's a lot of people with a sinking feeling in their stomach. It's always bad news when you see the card out on the field.
Well, everybody comes out all pumped and ready to go, and then this kind of deflates everything. We're trying to pick up where, okay, Campion got blocked into. One of his own men was blocking a Sioux defender there, and it just carried into him, and down he went, and they've got a wrap on his right leg. You see it there as he hobbles to this cart to be attended to by the team doctors.
Pete Campion, a 6'5" junior out of Fergus Falls, Minnesota, a player that the Bison offensive coaches say has come a long way in a short amount of time. He always had the size and always had the ability, but it's been only within the last 2 years, offensive line coach Bruce Somm says, that Pete Campion has started to play like a true warrior. And that's, of course, what they're looking to have. So the Bison will kick it away to UND. Aaron Peterson will be back to punt. Luke Schleissner and Dan Graff back deep to receive it for UND. Peterson angles it, a fairly tight spiral, and Schleissner will call for the fair catch at his 22-yard line. That's where the Sioux will set up shop. Let's meet the UND starting lineups on the Cook Sign starting lineup.
Kelby Klosterman, sophomore, quarterback from Spearfish, South Dakota. Jed Perkarevich, I'm a junior from Washburn, North Dakota, and I play running back. Andy Zahn, Valley City, North Dakota, fullback senior.
Dan Graff, junior, wide receiver, Aberdeen, South Dakota.
Rob Humquist, senior, number 29, Buffalo, Minnesota.
John Kyvig, junior, tight end, Benson, Minnesota.
First and 10 UND from their own 22. Perkarevich in the backfield behind Kelby Klosterman, single receiver to the right. Klosterman, the draw to Perkarevich. Not much room, fights his way out across the 23 to almost the 24-yard line. Call it a gain of 1. It'll bring up 2nd and 9.
Matt Knudsen, number 68, junior, Maya, North Dakota.
Mike Bryant, I'm a guard center, junior from Coon Rapids, Minnesota.
Max Schneider, sophomore, center, Fargo, North Dakota.
Mike Kraus, number 74. Del Madison, senior right tackle, Grand Rapids, Minnesota.
That was your Cook Sign starting lineups. Kelby Klosterman under center, 2nd and 9 from its own 24-yard line. Sprint give, Perkarevich with a little bit of a hole, shakes through a tackle by cornerback Matt Swanson. He's out across the 30-yard line up to about the 32-yard line. Looks like it'll be just about a half-yard short of a first down.
Jed Perkarevich does not normally wear gloves. You see those big silver gloves on his hands. He's got a pad on his right thumb and a glove over that. He got hit against a helmet in the South Dakota game a couple of weeks ago. Did not play last week at Mankato. He could have played if they needed him, but they did not need him. So this is his first action since the first half 2 weeks ago.
Nice work on the left side of the line. Left guard Mike Bryan and left tackle Matt Knudsen making the play. Now let's take a look at the NDSU defensive starting lineups, courtesy of Cook Sign Company.
Clint Jelstad, senior, defensive end, Belleville, North Dakota.
Chris Bays, junior, nose guard, Whitefish, Montana.
Luke Hendrickson, junior nose guard, Cooperstown, North Dakota.
Tom Krenz, junior defensive end, Wheaton, Minnesota.
Jared Maher, senior inside linebacker, Bismarck, North Dakota.
Wade Kittleson, junior, inside linebacker, Belleville, North Dakota. Ryan Evenson, senior, outside linebacker, Climax, Minnesota.
First and 10 for the Sioux. Perkarevich changing directions, but Jared Maher is there in the middle to seal it off. Tom Krenz also in on the tackle, and number 47, Travis Sturdivant, in from his free safety spot. Now let's meet the rest of the Cook Sign starting lineups.
I'm Jay Hatley, a senior cornerback from Waynesboro, Minnesota. Travis Sturdivant, junior free safety, Bismarck, North Dakota. Billy Ehrenberg, sophomore strong safety, West Fargo, North Dakota.
Hi, Matt Swanson. I'm a senior cornerback from Hoffman, Minnesota.
They'll call it a gain of 1, brings up 2nd and 9 from the Sioux 34. Backs in the eye behind Kelby Klosterman, double receivers right. Klosterman, not much room. Pass over the head of the intended receiver, Dan Graff. Matt Swanson there on the coverage. And there's a little discussion in the UND backfield. Luke Hendrickson in there raising a little havoc with the Sioux starting offensive line.
There's Casey Bradley, the defensive coordinator for North Dakota State. Looked like Klosterman bumped into the fullback Andy Zahn on that play. A few weeks ago, Klosterman bumped into several people on, I think, 3 plays in one game, and each time it wound up as a fairly sizable gain for the Sioux, but not this time. You see, he just caught the right arm of Andy Zahn there.
The Sioux offense 23 of 59 this year on third down. They face a 3rd and 9 from the Sioux 34. Double receivers right, backs in the eye behind Kelby Klosterman. Fake give, now they run a little option play. Pitches out, Perkarevich to the outside. Slowed up by Jay Hatley. Pursuit gets there, and UND will have to punt it away. It'll be 4th down and about 6 yards to go.
And I think this is what both defenses want to do today to the top running back of the other team, string him along. You don't want him to turn the corner, but as long as he's running from side to side, that's not yardage forward, that's yardage sideways. Great pursuit here by Hatley, who was just waiting for him and stayed with him.
So in now to punt, Dan Hildebrandt, the 6'1 senior from Medford, Oregon. Richard Lewis back to receive the kick for NDSU. He's already taken 3 of them back this season. Wobbly kick, Lewis backs off. It takes a great Sioux bounce inside the 10-yard line. And it rolls and rolls and rolls down to almost the 6-yard line. And that's where NDSU will set up shop. We'll take a break, be back to the Fargo Dome, 10:27 to play. No score from Fargo.
For more than 140 years, Wells Fargo has been part of the American landscape. Now, Norwest and Wells Fargo are teaming up. The result will be a bank with a unique heritage of innovation and personal service. A bank that's the best of both of us. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Prepare for the road ahead at North Dakota State University Fargo, offering 78 major courses of study. So get on the right road. NDSU, your major advantage.
Now I'm on the road to somewhere where all I need to know is right there.
The NDSU offense 3 and out on its first series. And they'll take the field now for their second series inside their own 10-yard line. It looks like it is number 71 on the offensive line for NDSU, replacing Pete Campion. Shane Evert. Ryan Johnson back to pass, looking for Eric Nelson, tries to tip it to himself. Almost a great catch. Good coverage by Craig Riondo. Ryan Johnson just a little bit behind the intended receiver. It'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the NDSU 7.
Boy, the Sioux bit. The play moved to the left. Johnson had wide open room to the right. Nelson, who normally would have caught that ball, an outstanding receiver, unable to perform the juggling act with Dustin Thornburg, the sophomore defensive back, right on his back.
2nd down, 10 yards to go. NDSU at its own 7-yard line. We have seen Jeremy Luer exclusively at fullback for NDSU to this point. Johnson, option keeper right, keeps it, and he is swarmed under. Eric Schmidt on top, and underneath Brad Wagner on the stop. Travis O'Neill in from his middle linebacker position.
We asked the defensive coordinator of the Sioux, Bubba Schweigert, if the threat of Lamar Gordon in the backfield would force defense to play a little more conservatively. He said, no, we're at our best when we're moving around. And the Sioux are certainly moving in on Johnson there, double teaming him. And 3rd and 8 coming up here.
The NDSU offense averaging 5.5 yards of play to this point. To this point, though, not much going against the UND defense. Johnson now option left, will keep it. Now pitches to Gordon, and he's got a seam on the sideline, hit hard by Ross Santis. Shoves him out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. It will be very close to a 1st down.
Well, Lamar was able to turn the corner there, and I think Dale Leonard will take that any day rather than seeing him run all the way down the field. The strategy for the Sioux is to limit Gordon's big plays today. And while he was able to get by the first wave there, Ross Santos knocks him out to possibly save a touchdown.
Nice job, a ball fake by Ryan Johnson, waiting for the last possible second, making the strong safety commit. NDSU now 1st and 10 on its own 17. Ryan Johnson under center, double backs behind him, one receiver to the right. Delayed give, Gordon has a hole into the secondary, out across the 25-yard line. He's up close to another first down. Looks like a gain of 9 out to the 26-yard line. Has some good blocking at the point of attack by John Semchenko, the senior center out of Max, North Dakota.
And that was a big matchup last year. Semchenko against Scott Schultz, the man in the middle, really caused problems for the Bison last year. But on this play, look at the room that Lamar Gordon had to roam through the middle. You wonder if he's warming up here.
Junior free safety Mike O'Neill up quickly to make that tackle. It's second down and about a half yard from the NDSU 27-yard line. Johnson looking, he's going deep, he's looking for Eric Nelson, he's got a step, and it looks like the flag will be thrown on Dustin Thornburg, the sophomore right cornerback. The pass a little bit underthrown. Eric Nelson, tried to come back for the ball. Thornburg was in pretty good position, not a lot of contact, Pat, but when you don't look back for the ball, you're going to be whistled more times than not.
Nelson just put on a burst of speed at the 50-yard line and got past the new starter in the defensive backfield, Dustin Thornburg, along with free safety Mike O'Neill. But here it is again. And we saw Nelson make some circus catches a couple of weeks ago on St. Cloud when he was well covered. But he did have to come back for the ball, and there was contact there. The official looking right at it, and there's the flag.
The senior Eric Nelson against the sophomore Dustin Thornburg.
15 yards, first down.
The Bison may go that route a lot today. In college football, the pass interference penalty is not the point of the foul as it is in the NFL. So NDSU gets it now at its own 42-yard line. We've got 8:42 to go in the first quarter. No score from the Fargo Dome. Glad to have you with us this afternoon on the ABC Dakota Sports Network or around the world via satellite. Welcome to Fargo. Give now to Gordon, hit hard in the middle. Travis O'Neill in the middle, giving him a good stick, but Gordon across the 45-yard line. Looks like he's got a gain of almost 5 yards on first down.
And there you see number 32, Mike George, helping to plug up the middle. Mike missed most of last year, sat out the year with a foot injury, and what a story this is. He comes back. He's already graduated. Mike is married, has a child, and he appeared at a Sioux booster luncheon earlier this year and was almost in tears talking about how much this year meant to him. You can tell that this guy really wants to play.
The players in their final year, it all starts to set in for him, doesn't it, Pat? We'll call it second down, 7 yards to go. Pitch to Lamar Gordon to the outside, tries to get a block. A great job coming up from his cornerback position. Craig Riondo really disrupted that play, tripped up Lamar Gordon. A gain of, well, just about nothing on that one. They'll spot it at the 46-yard line. That'll bring up about a 3rd and 5.
And what did we say about wanting to string him along? You don't want him to go forward. There's Craig Riondo, last week's NCC Defensive Player of the Week against last week's NCC Offensive Player of the Week. Pretty good matchup there.
NDSU offense 23 of 44 this season on third down. They face a 3rd and 5 from their own 46-yard line. Johnson out of the shotgun, has 3 receivers in the package, 1 running back, Gordon in the backfield. Tough snap, Gordon. Johnson finally gets a hold of it, but right there to throw him down is number 56, Josh Christopherson, the sophomore linebacker, had a hold of his jersey and would not let go. A flag is down on the play. It looks like, as of right now, that NDSU will be forced to punt for the second time today, but have to see what the infraction is all about.
And what did Bob Babbage say all week? We've got to hang on to the ball. A crucial time there to lose control coming out of the shotgun, and this will be a face mask against North Dakota. Well, surprise, surprise.
Well, what a big penalty that is. Pat, let's see if we can see how this play unfolded.
Johnson did a nice job just to hang on to the ball. Now let's see if Josh Christopherson got his hand on the face mask.
Hard to tell
couldn't
from
see
that
it there,
angle.
unless it was away from the play. Ryan Goldman, number 96, out of Turtle Lake, North Dakota. We'll have a halftime feature on him. He's one of 2 pro prospects on the Sioux D-line, along with Scott Schultz. Lots of scouts been coming in to take a look at those guys this year.
The preliminary call was face mask. We didn't get the official signal, but that looks like where we're at. NDSU now inside UND territory for the first time all day. Gordon to the outside, tries to get away, but he can't. Dustin Thornburg up from the cornerback position. Eric Schmidt, the linebacker, out of Mandan in on the play, and Ben Dixon in there as well. A host of Sioux defenders throws down Lamar Gordon. That'll be a loss of, it looks like, about 3 yards. NDSU will be faced now with a second and about 14 from its own 48.
Jeremy Luer unable to develop the block from his fullback position, and before he knew it, he had 3 white jerseyed Sioux defenders around him, and that was the end of that.
The UND defense runs a 3-4 formation, and the Bison coaches say it's tough to block that because a lot of the guys in that linebacker unit slash and slant, do a lot of twists, and sometimes, especially with a young offensive lineman like a Shane Evert that is in the game now, it may be tough to know exactly where your assignment is at.
UND was in formation to receive a punt. NDSU was not in punt formation on 4th down, and UND called a quick timeout.
Well, I thought the penalty on the face mask gave them an automatic first down. That was not the case. It's 4th down and 3.
Well, this is interesting. Would the Bison go for it this early in the game on 4th and 3?
Well, Bob Babbage has been known to take a few risks. UND is probably the other way philosophically. They don't like to take a lot of gambles. They'd rather punt it to you, pin you deep in your own territory about your 15-yard line or so, and make you run 85 yards against the very good UND defense. But Bob Babbage made a call a couple weeks back, 4th and 7 in his own territory, and see what he's got in mind. Let's see what Dan Ashworth has in mind, Dan.
Just inside the Bison huddle, they are going for it on 4th and 3 and on the 49-yard line. They tried to surprise them. Now they're going to say, let's bring out the Rams and let's go for it for real.
Well, if they don't convert, UND with pretty good field position, and Cameron Paterka, a pretty good kicker. Both kickers, Peterson and Paterka, kicked 52-yarders last week.
Pitch to Gordon, not much room, and he's thrown down at the line of scrimmage. Coming up to make the stop, Scott Schultz from the nose tackle position, creating some havoc in the middle. That play had no chance, and it will be UND football at the NDSU 46-yard line, 47-yard line, I should say.
Well,
the first big momentum shift of the game goes to the Sioux.
There's just something about the Sioux defense this year. They take this personally. They say, okay, you want to go for it on 4th and 3, we're ready, we're digging in, and they come after them. Absolutely no chance. You're absolutely right, Steve.
So UND now gets its second possession of the game. Double receivers to the right. Kelby Klosterman under center. 1st and 10 at the NDSU 47. Sprint draw, give to Perkarevich. Inside the 45, down to the 44. A gain of 3 will bring up 2nd down and 7 yards to go. Jed Perkarevich, as Dan told us in our pregame show, needs just 438 rushing yards to crack the UND top 10. And Pat, that's a pretty distinguished fraternity.
Well, the last running back for the Sioux to play in this rivalry in this building was a fellow by the name of Philip Moore. And those are some tough shoes to fill, but Jed Perkarevich had his breakthrough game against the Bison last year in Grand Forks.
2nd and 8 from the NDSU 44. Klosterman give again to Perkarevich. Picking his way, dancing up through the hole, gets another 2 yards. He's up to the 47-yard line. It will bring up another 3rd and long for UND. They'll spot it at the 42-yard line. That'll make it a 3rd down and 5 yards to go. Perkarevich averaging 5.6 yards a carry this season, and he, it looks like, will be a workhorse today. 71 carries, 395 yards on the year. So we've got 3rd and 5. The NDSU faithful on their feet. Klosterman under center. He's got a single receiver each side, 1 back behind him, and Perkarevich. Bison showing blitz. And they're coming. Jared Maher with the pressure. Klosterman hit as he's thrown, and it's incomplete. He was looking on the far right sideline for Jesse Smith, the sophomore receiver out of Wahpeton, North Dakota. The Klosterman under duress as he pitched that ball, and it will bring up a 4th and 5 now for the Sioux at the NDSU 42.
Jesse Smith has had a couple of touchdown catches this year. He had position on Matt Swanson, I think it was back there, but you knew Klosterman heard those footsteps coming from behind, and the ball winds up nowhere near the receiver, Jesse Smith, out of Breckenridge.
So Dan Hildebrandt back in punt formation. Richard Lewis again back on his 10-yard line to field the punt. 4:33 to go first quarter. We have no score. Hildebrandt angling for the corner. It will hit inside the 10. Another great punt. Can the Sioux get there? They do, but the coverage guy steps on the goal line, and it'll be a touchback for NDSU. They'll start 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Let's take a look at the UND defense starting lineups, courtesy of the Cook Sign Company. .424 to play in the first quarter. NDSU with its 3rd drive of the day. 1st and 10 on its own 20-yard line. Now Ryan Simmers, the redshirt freshman fullback in the game for NDSU. Johnson nowhere to go. Ross Sanis throws him down at the 16-yard line. Good run support by Dustin Thornburg, the cornerback coming up to help out covering the pitch man. Ryan Johnson had nowhere to go. Now let's take a look at the UND defensive starting lineups, courtesy of the Cook Sign Company.
Eric Culverson, number 90, sophomore D-end, Newtown, North Dakota.
Scott Schultz, nose guard, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada. Ben Dixon, sophomore, defensive end, Grand Rapids, Minnesota.
Ryan Govan, senior outside linebacker from Turtle Lake.
Travis O'Neill, junior inside linebacker, Eden Prairie, Minnesota.
Ross Sanis, senior linebacker from Breckenridge, Minnesota.
Eric Schmidt, junior outside linebacker, Nana, North Dakota.
Swing pass to Lamar Gordon on 2nd down, works awfully hard but cannot accomplish anything. He ran about 30 yards just to get back to the line of scrimmage on the quick swing pass out of the backfield from Ryan Johnson. And now let's take a look at the rest of the Cook Sign starting lineups.
Craig Riondo, cornerback from Grand Forks.
Brad Wagner, senior, safety, Mandan, North Dakota.
Mike O'Neill, junior defensive back from Cambridge, Minnesota.
I'm Dustin Thornburg. I'm a sophomore cornerback from Forest Lake, Minnesota.
The Bison have not been in many 3rd and long situations, but they're facing another one, 3rd and 13 from their own 17-yard line. And now there's movement on the offensive line, a false start, and it looks like NDSU will be pinned even deeper in its own territory.
Josh Hobble on the right side appeared to move.
False start, offense. Repeat the down.
Something that Bob Babbage has talked about a lot in the first 4 weeks of the season. We have to cut down on penalties. We're pinning ourselves too deep or taking away big plays that we have earned. And the Bison are the most penalized team in the NCC coming into this weekend's play. So it'll be 3rd down and 18 yards to go. NDSU on its own 12-yard line. Pat, there's not a whole lot of plays that you have called for 3rd and 18.
And the Bison unofficially 7 yards rushing thus far.
Johnson going to throw deep, looking for Nelson again. He's got a step, goes up, and cannot make the catch. Good coverage by Craig Riondo on the corner, and NDSU will have to punt from its own 12-yard line. So the Sioux hold again. Aaron Peterson in for his 3rd punt of the day.
Boy, what a battle this was along the sidelines. Nelson and Riondo step for step. The Sioux coming in. And the long bomb coming down. We've seen, as we mentioned, against St. Cloud State, Nelson made how many of those catches with guys all over his back? It's not working today.
Peterson under pressure gets a low line drive punt away. It's grabbed at his own 43 across the 50 inside Bison territory. Slips a tackle at the 38 inside the NDSU 35-yard line. And the battle of field position so far is going UND's direction. 2:19 to play from the Fargo Dome. We are scoreless. We'll be back to the Fargo Dome after this.
It's the Ford authorized clearance at your Northland Ford store. So,
what will you say
Check out Ford Windstar with the government's highest safety rating ever, $1,500 cash back plus 0-9 financing. That means nearly $100 a month in savings. With so many reasons to buy, the only question is, what will you save during the Ford authorized clearance at your Northland Ford store?
What will you save?
Standing together, our hopes and a dream.
When you're planning for the future, take advantage of the package and save. Insure your auto and home together and receive a package discount from Farmers Union Insurance.
Highways for home, knowing you're never alone.
Farmers Union Insurance, you're never alone.
We've got 2:19 to play in the first quarter. No score. We invite you at halftime to stay tuned for the Papa Murphy's halftime report with Dan Ashworth. If you're a fan of this rivalry and you've been watching these games for some time, you'll need to check out our halftime feature, Stories About the Nickel Trophy Rivalry. A lot of fun as we talk to former Bison and Sioux players. You'll want to catch that on our halftime show. Dan Ashworth with the Papa Murphy's halftime report. UND with its deepest possession in NDSU territory. They set up 1st and 10 at the NDSU 34-yard line. Klosterman pitches. Perkarevich with a head of steam leaps over one tackler inside the 34 down to about the 33-yard line. It looks like a flag was thrown in late. We'll wait to see what the infraction was. It was on the perimeter, which you don't really know exactly what to guess on those locations of penalties.
Holding against North Dakota, and it was made from quite a distance away, Steve. You're absolutely right. It was the official back in the defensive backfield who called that.
Something apparently on the point of attack as Perkarevich got to the right side off tackle.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards, repeat the down.
Travis Headley was on the outside, and I'm just guessing it may have been the tight end Headley who was the guilty man there.
And all of a sudden, that great field position doesn't look quite as great. 1st and 20 for the Sioux at the NDSU 47-yard line. Now double receivers to the left, single receiver right, backs in the eye behind Kelby Klosterman. Fakes the pitch, now keeps it. Klosterman with some room inside the 40 down to, it's like about the 34-yard line, and it looks like he got back all the penalty yardage. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the NDSU 34.
And that's one thing that gives UND an added dimension offensively this year is the running ability of Kelby Klosterman. He did not do a lot of running in high school, oddly enough, but he says the coaches have told him to go ahead and scramble if he has the green light, although that looked like a planned play.
Travis Sturdivant up from his free safety spot to make the tackle. 2nd and 10 on the NDSU 34. We've got 1:18 to play in the first quarter. Scoreless from the Fargo Dome. Klosterman now give to Perkarevich, looking for room, but Leif Murphy wraps him up at the line of scrimmage. A gain of very little, if anything at all. It will bring up 3rd and about 9 for UND at the NDSU 33-yard line.
Well, the hole was there for a moment, but Perkarevich could not accelerate as Leif Murphy, number 43, watch him from the left of your screen, come in and just cut Perkarevich off before any damage is done. And now the Sioux are looking at 3rd and 9.5.
Leif Murphy, just a sophomore, 6'4", 240 pounds out of Spring Lake Park, Minnesota. 3rd and 9. Klosterman gives to Perkarevich, trying to find room. He finds a little, but not enough. It'll bring up a 4th down on the NDSU 33-yard line between the 32 and the 33. It would be about a 50-yard field goal, and let's see if Dale Lennon chooses to send in Cameron Paterka.
Well, Paterka, as we said, hit a 52-yarder last week at Mankato. Just missed a 59-yarder about 4 feet to the left. So this is certainly within his range. His career long is 54 yards as the first quarter ends.
Dale Lennon will have a little extra time to think it over. We're scoreless after a quarter of play from Fargo.
Goes by many names.
You shot yourself.
No, I didn't. Baloney.
Hogwash.
She's doing this out of revenge.
Malarkey. Mumbo jumbo.
Dude, you just dropped all my jewelry into the toilet.
But in this courtroom, it's referred to simply as... Bull. Meet America's first bullfighter.
You're gonna have to pay for that door.
Nobody gets on your case like Judge Joe Brown.
Weekdays at 5 on KTMY, KMCY.
Today's toys become tomorrow's major financial purchases. America's young adults are entering the marketplace without the ability to make critical financial decisions affecting their lives. This can result in stressful consequences like their car being repossessed or their home being foreclosed.
Prepare us for our financial future.
Begin our second quarter of play. I'd like to remind you that today's game is brought to you by Bremer and your local Northland Ford dealers. Well, Pat, I don't think either of these teams are too accustomed to having goose eggs after a quarter of play.
Well, after those first three meetings here in the Fargo Dome, I think the Bison are happy with where they're at right now. Maybe not offensively, but certainly defensively. Peterka says he likes kicking in this building, but what kicker wouldn't like playing indoors, huh?
Well, within his range, they'll spot it at the 39-yard line. It'll be a 49-yard attempt. Snap is down. The kick is up. It looks like it's got the distance. It does, and it is good. And so the first points in the 107th meeting of the Bison and the Sioux, courtesy of kicker Cameron Peterka, 3-0 UND.
Well, Peterka is UND's Mr. Relaxation. Nothing seems to bother this guy. He's as calm as can be. In fact, he's the guy who won the game for UND last year against the Bison in Grand Forks with a 27-yarder with 6:14 to go. As we take a look at that fine kick again from 49 yards away. And it was Dale Lennon who told him before that kick last year, go out and win the game for us. Now, that's not too much pressure to put on a guy, is it? But he's been a steady performer. Cameron, 7 of 9 on field goals now this season.
Well, we talked about it earlier, Pat. UND's game is to play field position, to make you travel a long way against their defense, which is tough to do, and get just enough field position to get close enough to score some points. That's where a kicker like Peterka is so valuable. And so far, you'd have to say UND has worked its game plan to a T.
Well, when you look at the numbers up on the board, NDSU with 7 yards rushing unofficially, 1 yard passing. They'll take that after one quarter, no matter who they're playing.
NDSU has been averaging 53.5 points a game. They're held scoreless with 14:52 to go in the second. Richard Lewis deep to return the kick. Tripped up at the 23-yard line, out to about the 20, well, they'll call it the 20, excuse me. NDSU will get it again. 1st and 10, still looking for some offensive production. NDSU just 2 first downs in the first quarter. As Pat said, 8 total yards, 7 on the ground, 1 through the air.
But let's not forget the Bison defense either. They held the Sioux to 1 first down and 32 yards rushing, and the Sioux were 0 for 2 passing.
Shane Detman in now as the single receiver for NDSU. Give to Lamar Gordon, finds a little bit of room. Mike George is there, as is Ryan Govan from his outside linebacker position. A fairly decent gain on first down for Gordon. They'll mark it at about the 25-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd down and 5 yards to go.
Looked like Josh Hobble had a little extra shove after the play. You see him, number 70. They're knocking Mike George back, but George recovers to stay with the play as Wagner and another Sioux defender come in. And right after that, there was a little shoving, but nothing came of it.
2nd and 5. Ryan Johnson with I-backs behind him. He'll give again to Gordon. Not much there. Ryan Govan again. And it looked like he came through virtually unblocked on that play. And now Ryan Govan slow to get up. That will cause some concern on the UND side.
Govan 6'4", 255 pounds, a senior out of Turtle Lake, and it's not often this guy will leave a game, so something must be wrong here.
Officially no gain on the play. Gordon carries back to the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd and 5 from the NDSU 25. 13:37 to go, second quarter. 3-0 UND. Johnson back and looking, quick hitter, looking for Detman, off his shoulder pass into the air. The ball was right between the numbers. Well, I guess there's only one number. It was right on the number. It falls away incomplete, 4th and 5. Aaron Peterson in again to punt for NDSU.
That's right. When you wear a single digit, it can't be between the numbers. Never thought of that. Right at him and through his hands. The Bison have had their hands on quite a few today, unable to hang on.
Just not expecting that pass as quickly as it came. Peterson back to punt. Schleissner and Graff deep to receive for UND. And the Bison are going to be whistled again. That time, one of the guys up front rocked back in his stance. Looked like it might have been Ryan Evenson on the right side. Flags come in. Another penalty for NDSU, and they'll move back another 5 yards.
False start, offense. Repeat the down.
The guy got up on the line when your guy moved. That's when he came up.
Well, there you have it.
Your guy moved.
3 penalties on NDSU and to this point.
You heard the discussion there between Bob Babbage, Casey Bradley, and the official.
It looked like it was Ryan Evenson. Just started to back up a hair early. Now Peterson standing back at his 12. Pretty good rush. Gets it away, a high spiral. Graff coming up, signals fair catch. Doesn't matter, it's out of bounds. They'll mark it at the 44-yard line. So UND again starts in very good field position with 13:21 to go. They have the ball with a 3-0 lead.
Dan Graff, an outstanding receiver for this Sioux football team, but also a very good punt returner, and the Bison would rather see the ball go out of bounds than Dan Graff run it back as he did the last time. But the Sioux have been blessed with good field position here lately, and they are once again starting from their own 44, and a lot of time left, 13:21 to go until halftime, and it's 3-0 North Dakota. The battle of defense so far.
Kelby Klosterman, double receivers to the left, one back behind him. He'll go back and look. Now under pressure, chase. Tommy Krenz in hot pursuit. Klosterman nowhere to go, tries to make a throw. Not a bad throw either for scrambling out of bounds. Looking for the tight end, John Kyvig, just a bit too low. Incomplete. He'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Boy, Kelby Klosterman sure worked to get that ball away.
Was it Luke Hendrickson who just nailed him as he got out of bounds? No penalty flag was thrown, but we'll take a look at it again. We talked about the scrambling ability of Klosterman, but when everybody's covered, it's tough to know what to do. And let's see if we can pick it up. I think that was Hendrickson who pushed Klosterman off his feet. We had a physical game here with the Bison and Coyotes last week, and another one today.
2nd and 10 UND from its own 37-yard line. 3 receivers in the package for UND. Give up the middle. Andy Zahn, the fullback, gets the carry. He's met head-on in the middle by Andrew LeClaire. Shoved backwards. Looks like they'll mark it right at the 48, which would be a gain of maybe just a yard or so.
And what a story Andrew LeClaire is, wearing number 54 as his dad did at UND. I believe that was the same number. Jim LeClaire, an All-American linebacker at North Dakota, but suddenly he's a Bison fan as Andrew transfers from Kansas to NDSU and has done a nice job sharing time with Kittleson.
3rd down, 16 yards to go. UND from its own 38-yard line. Give to Zahn, nothing there. And it's Steve Knorr. He was questionable. Well, let's back up a little bit. He was doubtful on Tuesday, questionable on Wednesday, but today he's in the ballgame, makes a big stop on 3rd down, and UND will have to punt it away.
And the Bison defense gets this crowd up. He's not doubtful or questionable anymore. With a pop like that, a stop there forcing another North Dakota punt here. And the offensive numbers for both teams still rather minimal.
So Dan Hildebrand on to punt again. NDSU looks to be setting up the return as Mike Shepard peels off in coverage. Off the side of his foot, Hildebrand squibs it, and it'll go out of bounds at the NDSU 41-yard line. So NDSU will have some mighty fine field position as they begin their 2nd quarter drive. We'll take a quick break and be back to the Fargo Dome. It's 3-0 UND.
North Dakota farmers have to pay millions more than Canadians for products to protect their crops. Our representative in Washington keeps talking about a solution, but nothing happens. Last year, North Dakota's House Majority Leader John Dorso got a law passed to allow the state to help our farmers. But the Washington regulators didn't like it and threatened to put our farmers in jail. John Dorso wants to go to Congress and fix it once and for all.
And I'm just the guy to do it.
John Dorso for Congress. No excuses, just results.
The secret of yum. Sure, you like all these treats made with fresh peaches, plums, and nectarines. After all, they're loaded with energy, plus vitamins and minerals for extra brain power. Sometimes the ones your mom gives you taste like yuck butter because they're not ripe. Many adults don't know that if you simply put your peaches, plums, and nectarines in an ordinary paper bag, set them on the kitchen counter a day or two, they will get ripe. And ripe equals yum. So, kids of America, put your fruit in paper bags. Thank you.
KBMY TV, Bismarck.
Coming up in just a few minutes, we invite you to stay tuned for the Papa Murphy's halftime report with Dan Ashworth. Let's go down to Dan Ashworth right now on the sidelines. Dan?
Hi, guys. Number 96, Ryan Govan, is back in the game. He's got a lot of some bandage and things like that. It looks like a deep thigh bruise. The Sioux are not saying exactly what it is, but Ryan Govan is back in the Sioux lineup.
Tough to keep a player out of this game, that's for sure. NDSU sets up 1st and 10 on its own 41-yard line. 11:41 to go, second quarter, 3-0 UND. Give to Gordon, finds a little bit of room up the middle, running hard across the 45, up to the 47-yard line. A gain of about 6 yards on first down.
And some conversation after the play between Josh Hobble and looks like UND's Mike O'Neill, the free safety. Boy, Dan's not kidding when he said, Govan, I think he's got the whole case of bandage on that leg.
They might have to send the truck back up to Grand Forks to bring down some more tape.
Look at that. He's got it all over that left leg.
Call it 2nd down 4 on the 47-yard line. Give to Gordon again, this time with a hole. One man to beat, and a great open field tackle on the corner. Prevents Gordon from a big game. Dustin Thornburg up from the cornerback spot, and he was the only guy standing between Lamar Gordon and a 47-yard touchdown run. It'll be 1st and 10, NDSU at the Sioux 43.
Well, Dale Lennon said it earlier this week. If Lamar Gordon breaks free, we don't have anybody in our defensive backfield who can catch him. Although Dustin Thornburg, one of the faster guys, managed to stay with it. But the Sioux have accomplished what they have wanted to do in not allowing Gordon to break free on the big plays. 39 yards on 12 rushes.
Quick count, give to Gordon, up the middle again. About a 3-yard gain. A flag comes flying in from the far reaches of the Fargo Dome, and we'll see who did what here in a minute. It looked like it came in just as the ball was snapped, which would indicate a procedure or an offsides.
John Landris going off, the backup nose guard to Scott Schultz.
Maybe too many guys on the field, possibly.
You gotta tap that! Tap!
Here's the call.
Illegal procedure on the offense. They only had 6 men on the line. Repeat the down 5 yards.
So the old illegal formation bug bites NDSU. Another penalty for the Bison. Bob Babich is not happy about it as he discusses the matter with one of his players on the near sideline. 1st and 15 now from the Sioux 49-yard line. 10:25 to play in the second quarter. It's 3-0 in favor of the Sioux. A Cameron Paterka 49-yard field goal, the only points of this affair. Johnson with a long count, fakes the give, now bootleg. He's got a tight end open. It's Craig Tangen on the near side to the 40, inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. The free safety, Mike O'Neill, coming up to lay a hat on Craig Tangen. But a good gain for NDSU. They make up the penalty yardage plus about half of the 10 yards that they needed at the beginning.
Boy, the Bison like to work that bootleg, don't they? Perfect fake. Schmidt can't get his hand on it. Wide open is Tangen. And extra yards after the catch. But again, the Sioux keep it to a minimum.
It looked like Schmidt may have got a hand on that ball. It fluttered out there pretty slowly to Tangen. Johnson give now to Gordon, trying to find some room, fights to the outside, but looks like Ben Dixon had a handful of him, wouldn't let go. Also in on the tackle is Mike George from his linebacker spot. So we've got third down for NDSU. Looks like about a 4-yard situation. 9:15 to play in the second quarter. We weren't sure how much we would see Jeremy Luer today, but he has played a lot of snaps for NDSU to this point. Had one of those tough ankle sprains earlier in the week. Suffered it last week against South Dakota. They weren't sure he was going to play at all Monday or Tuesday, but he's been a warrior today. Now Gordon looking to get to the outside, trying to get to the corner. He does. And shoved out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. Mike O'Neill preventing the touchdown. Craig Riando had a shot at him, but Gordon able to step away. Now NDSU into red zone territory. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Bison at the 17, the 18-yard line.
Well, that's the Lamar Gordon that the Bison fans are used to seeing here. Good blocks from Jared Peck. He gets by Craig Riando there, and then it's off to the races as Mike O'Neill, the free safety, finally pushes him out. But he broke away from the pile, and you see Goldman going down there, flailing at him. You can't arm tackle this guy. You've got to get your body in front of him.
North Dakota State's been in the red zone 17 times. They've scored 13 times, 10 of them touchdowns. Johnson on the keeper to the right side. Tries to get outside, but a nice tackle by Riando on the corner. Limits it to about a 2-yard gain. It'll bring up 2nd down and 8 yards to go.
Now this is a crucial series for the Bison. When you look back at history, a year ago, NDSU reached the Sioux 7, 10, and 18-yard lines, wound up with 2 turnovers and missed a 35-yard field goal.
And one of those turnovers was the interception by Kelly Howe that completely changed the momentum of that game. NDSU going in, trying to make it 14-3, I believe it was. Kelly Howe made the interception, and the rest, as they say, is history. 2nd down and 8 yards to go. NDSU at its own at the Sioux 16. Give to Deshaun Perkins up the middle, giving Lamar Gordon a spell. He's inside the 10-yard line up to about the 9. Deshaun Perkins is a back that the NDSU coaches will tell you we weren't really sure last year what he was going to give us. He got his ankle almost destroyed in a tough car accident, but he's come back this season with a vengeance.
Well, Gordon gets all the attention, but Perkins is no slouch either, averaging 8 yards a carry, 66 a game. He rushed for 100 yards against St. Cloud State the same day that Lamar Gordon did.
Big 3rd down, about 2.5 yards from the Sioux 10-yard line. 7:26 to play. 3-0 UND. Gordon back in the game on the bull rush, trying to get 1st down yardage, and he will be close. This one will all depend on the spot.
Well, if nothing else, it's been a drive of confidence for NDSU. 58 yards rushing so far after just 7 in the first quarter.
The ball is spotted at about the 7.5, and that's about where the Bison needed to get for the 1st down. NDSU coming in the number 6 total offense in the country, averaging 489 yards a game. And that time they got 3 yards, and that was enough to call it 1st down NDSU. At the UND 7-yard line, it'll be 1st and goal. The NDSU offense coming into this game averaging 7.7 yards a play. They haven't lived up to those numbers, but right now the only number they're concerned with is 7. 7-yard line, looking for 7 points. Gordon on the handoff inside the 5. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line. Lamar Gordon, the running back. What more can you say that hasn't been said already? He's the 5th leading rusher in the nation, averaging 155 yards a game. He's averaging 8.8 yards every time he carries the football, and last week had a career high 260 yards against the University of South Dakota, and that was also a school record. When you think about all the great running backs that have come through Fargo, that's a pretty big statement. 2nd and goal now. The Sioux crowd the line, some movement up front. And the Sioux say it was one of the Bison offensive linemen that jumped. And of course, there's a rebuttal the other way as well. Let's see what the referee has to say.
Dead ball. False start. Offense.
Looked like maybe Chuck Clabo from his left tackle position started a hair early. Another penalty on North Dakota State. Exactly what Bob Babbage says we have got to clean up.
Ben Dixon was the man coming off the line when he saw Clabo apparently move. Watch it again on the left-hand side of your screen, number 74. Well, didn't look like he moved much there, but they had a little skirmish on the play before that.
Paul Keller also with a little bit of movement up front. Now it's 2nd down and goal from the 10-yard line. A little bit different situation than being at the 5. Fake give. Johnson looking for room under pressure, and he tries to get it away. 3-4 Sioux linemen in his face. Tries to get a throw away. Lamar Gordon, the closest intended receiver, but he wasn't all that close. Big heat put on Ryan Johnson that time. That time the UND defense came with a blitz. Eric Schmidt wrapped him up as he got that ball away. It'll bring up 3rd and goal now at the 10-yard line.
It's one thing where the Sioux have been very successful this year is the pass rush, and you see Johnson has nowhere to go as 4 Sioux defenders converge on him and make it 5 as Halverson joined in the party. But you don't want to turn the ball over either, and it's 3rd and 10, 3rd and goal from the 10 here.
A big second quarter play with 6 minutes to go. Pitch to Gordon, looking for some room, cuts inside to the 5. Tackled by Mike George at the 3. For an instant, it looked like Gordon may have enough room to get to the corner, but a good defensive play. Mike George in hot pursuit from the linebacker spot, and Aaron Peterson will come in to try to equalize this affair at 3 apiece.
Even if you can't stop Lamar Gordon, you want to slow him down a little bit. Wagner got an arm on him, but that was it. And now it's field goal time for the Bison.
Ball will be spotted at the 11, so a 21-yard field goal attempt. Aaron Peterson, 2 of 3 on the year. Ball is down, the kick is up, and it is good. Ryan Johnson, a nice job getting the snap down, and it is now 3-3. UND and NDSU tied with 5:13 to play in the second.
Appliance and Furniture Rental says, check us out. Name brand merchandise, free service, low rental rates. What more can you ask for? Rent a new Whirlpool large capacity washer and dryer, just $13.99 per week for the pair. Hewlett-Packard or compact 500 megahertz home computers, just $34.99 per week. And RCA 32-inch stereo color TVs, just $14.99 per week. And remember, there's no credit check needed. Call or stop by Appliance and Furniture Rental today.
I think the quality of education that I have received has been absolutely phenomenal.
I really believe that UND has a lot for a lot of different people.
It's a beautiful campus. It's a wonderful town, and I just really liked everything that UND offered to me.
Today's game is brought to you by Bremer and your local Northland Ford dealers. 3-3 is our score in the 107th meeting of the Bison and the Sioux. NDSU trying to end a 3-game winning streak that NDSU has in the Fargo Dome. NDSU has never beaten the Sioux since this building was put up about 10 years ago.
And the odd thing about those games, Steve, is how decisive the margin of victory has been. I think UND has won each game by 14 points or more. And Bison fans aren't used to losing at home. In fact, the Sioux are the last team to beat the Bison in Fargo a couple of years back.
34-13 in 94, 33-19 in 96, and 39-25 back in 1998. All three in favor of UND. All three fairly high-scoring games, and it doesn't look like that's what we have in store here today. Aaron Peterson ready to kick it deep. On the left side, be taken by Dan Graff at his 10, out to the 20, a little bit of room. Tried to be tripped up by Nate Keller. He gets out across the 25-yard line. That's where UND will get its next possession. We'll be back with more from Fargo Dome.
Ford authorized clearance is back at your Northland Ford store.
What will you say?
Get into a well-equipped 2000 Ford Explorer, the #1 selling SUV with control track 4-wheel drive, and get $1,500 cash back plus 0-9 financing, saving you $114 a month. Get to the Ford authorized clearance going on now at your Northland Ford store.
What will you say?
Your friends at MDU thought you could use a moment of quiet, relaxation, a brief moment to appreciate the simple things in life. It's all part of our role of being a safe, reliable provider. Montana Dakota Utilities Company, your community to serve.
I invite you to stay tuned for the Papa Murphy's halftime report with Dan Ashworth. We'll meet a couple of players that are big parts of their team's efforts this year. Dan Ashworth with a story on senior linebacker Jared Maher. And we'll also hear about senior linebacker Ryan Govan of the UND Fighting Sioux, plus a neat story on memories of playing for the Nickel Trophy from alumni days gone by. First and 10, UND at its own 27-yard line. Klosterman give to Perkarevich. Got a good hole off the left side up to the 30-yard line. Gain of about 3 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 7.
Out of town, South Dakota State leads Morningside 28-14 at the half. And Omaha is up 30-0 on St. Cloud State at the half. Omaha and SDSU, of course, tied with the Bison and the Sioux for first place in the NCC. All at 2-0 coming into this weekend's action.
Both teams have predominantly used the rushing offense to accomplish what they've done here today. Second down, 6 yards to go on the 31. Klosterman sprint give. Perkarevich with a big hole into the secondary, tripped up from the strong safety position by Billy Ehrenberg. Otherwise, he was off to the races. A big gain for Perkarevich out to the 43. It'll be 1st and 10 UND.
Well, Dale Lennon says that Perkarevich is faster, bigger, and stronger than last year, but then so is Lamar Gordon. But look at the size of that hole. And Jed can accelerate. He's got 4 or 5 speed. He's not the fastest guy on the team. I think Dan Graff is, but still a big gain and better field position here for UND with 4:01 to go.
Klosterman give again to Perkarevich across the 45, up near the 49-yard line.
Sioux made some adjustments to their offensive line after the first few games. They weren't quite happy with the way things were going. They put Max Schneider back in at center, number 50, a Fargo native, and moved Mike Krause over to right guard. And the Sioux had to make some adjustments because Dave Butler, their leader on the offensive line, went down with a knee injury in preseason camp, and he's done for the year.
It'll be 2nd and 6, UND at its own 49-yard line with 3:15 to go in the second quarter. We're tied at 3. This is Chad Fall, escapes a tackle, gets to the outside, has a first down across the 50-yard line, down near the 45-yard line.
Chad Fall's been kind of caught in Jed Perkarevich's shadow. Not a bad running back. Maybe not as quick or as fast as Jed is, but Chad Fall filling in for Perkarevich 2 weeks ago when Jed went out with the thumb injury, wound up getting a 100-yard game against South Dakota. So Chad Fall, not a bad backup, and neither is Deshaun Perkins. So both teams have quite a bit of depth here.
Klosterman has twins receivers right on 1st and 10. Perkarevich back in the game after lacing up the shoe. A short gain across the 45-yard line. He's tripped up at about the 44. Getting up Steve Knorr out of that pile and Leif Murphy from his outside linebacker position in on the play. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 9 yards to go. We've talked so much about the NDSU offense, but the Sioux have been nothing to sneeze at either. They scored 40 points or more in their first 3 games. The last time they scored 40 or more in 3 straight games was back in 1903. The number 5 scoring offense in the nation, averaging 43 points a game. but like their counterparts at NDSU, have been held relatively in check to this point. Perkarevich with the carry and nothing doing. Swarmed under at the 45-yard line as another flag comes in from the far sideline. A host of Bison defenders in on the stop.
Sioux had double tight ends in there trying to create some more room up the middle, but it appears to be going against UND.
Jared Maher was not biting on the draw play. And it looks like an illegal shift penalty will be called on the offense.
Illegal motion on the offense. Declined. Not everyone was set.
Always appreciate that, the penalty call, and a little bit of explanation for us lay people. So 3rd and long now for UND. It'll be 3rd and almost 10 yards to go from the NDSU 45-yard line. Double receivers to the right. Kelby Klosterman has Perkarevich behind him. Back to pass. The Bison bringing the heat. Klosterman gets to the outside, now buys some time and throws deep. Looking for Headley, the tight end, and is overshot. 2 NDSU defenders back there, Matt Swanson and Bill Ehrenberg on the coverage. And the UND Fighting Sioux will have to boot it away.
Well, the Bison pressure forced the Sioux to improvise there. NDSU doing a tremendous job of getting everybody covered, and by the time Kelby Klosterman did throw the ball, down on the other end, it was Travis Headley suddenly finding a lot of company around him as he was initially in one-on-one coverage. Nice job by the Bison to get over there.
So Dan Hildebrand into punt at his own 41-yard line. Richard Lewis back on his 10 to return for NDSU. Some pressure up the middle, doesn't get to the kick. This punt bounces sideways out of bounds at about the 13-yard line. It's 3-3 UND and NDSU with 1:31 to go in the first half.
Tonight, I'm overwhelmed.
After 54 years, my dad got his Purple Heart because Senator Kent Conrad fought for him. It's the same way Kent fights for all North Dakota veterans today.
Kent won millions to strengthen our VA hospital in Fargo. He helped open new clinics for veterans throughout the state. And for those still in uniform, Kent Conrad's fighting to keep our air bases open and for better pay and benefits.
Senator Conrad stood up for veterans. I'm proud he's our senator.
We're about a minute and a half away from halftime. We'd invite you to stay tuned for the Papa Murphy's halftime report with Dan Ashworth. We'll meet a couple of the players, some of the participants in this game, and also talk to some of the participants from games gone by. A lot of fun on our Papa Murphy's halftime report with Dan Ashworth. Well, NDSU has, it's like about 88 yards to go in a minute and a half, and there's not too many teams that can do that against UND, but the Bison will give it the old college try. Johnson rolling left, looking for a receiver. Nothing shaping up. Now a throw deep downfield, looking for Eric Nelson, and he makes the catch at the 38, inside the 30. Nelson looking to get to the corner, at the 10, at the 5, and finally run out of bounds by Dustin Thornburg at the 3-yard line. Now there is a penalty flag on the play. We'll have to see who was guilty of what.
It was thrown back at the Bison 40-yard line. There was contact between Nelson and Thornburg, but let's see who the penalty is against. You talk about giving it the old college try, they sure did with that play.
If it stands, it would be an 85-yard pass, catch and run, but the Bison are walking backward, and you talk about the penalties that have hurt NDSU all season long. There's another one.
Oh, there are penalties both ways.
Ineligible downfield on the offense. Hold on to defense. Play the down. Numbers.
And that sigh of relief you hear is coming from Dale Lennon and Dustin Thornburg.
It doesn't matter.
But here's another look. There you see it looked like Thornburg might have pushed him there and gotten away with it. Johnson throwing off balance, and there goes the flag. So it came after that contact that we thought. Nice catch. I'm telling you, Eric Nelson just, you throw anything his way, and most of the time he's going to grab it.
Well,
he chose to go to the far side of the field. Dustin Thornburg, we said, one of the faster guys in the defensive backfield, but it's all going back.
He has a real knack for making the awkward-looking catch and making it look pretty. Now it's 1st and 10. Again, NDSU back inside its 10. Johnson trying to get away. John Landers on the rush. Now Johnson is swarmed under. Adam Frickman in from the linebacker spot. The 6-foot senior makes the tackle inside the 10-yard line. It looks like the Sioux may try to call a timeout in hopes of getting the ball back, do a little damage before halftime.
Frickman, number 57 from Bottineau, North Dakota. He's a senior and finally getting a chance to play extensively in this game. Look at how much the faith the Sioux are putting in their second stringers. You've got Landris in there along with Lee Smith, 94, Jeff Momorak, 93.
Josh Christofferson is in there right now as well.
UND is deep defensively. They have played a lot of people in the first 4 games, as the Bison have. These two defenses, the coaches kind of said all week, they're mirror images of each other, and the score is bearing that out right now, tied at 3 with 61 seconds left until halftime.
Well, last year it was a game of big plays. Tim Strelo took a crossing route, ran about 85 yards with it for an NDSU touchdown, and then Travis Headley got it alone behind the coverage. Those were the only 2 touchdowns of the game, and in a game like this, a big play can really tip the scales one way or the other, and it has to be very painful for the Bison because they thought they had one, but an illegal man downfield brought an 85-yard pass from Ryan Johnson to Eric Nelson back inside their own 10-yard line.
Sioux have 1 timeout left. The Bison have 3.
It will be 2nd down and 13 yards to go. NDSU with the ball on its own 9-yard line. Johnson rolling right. In hot pursuit, Mike George gets him near the goal line. He'll be marked down inside the 1. Dangerously close to being a safety. What a great burst of speed that time by the linebacker.
I think the Sioux have had 3 safeties this year. Now it looks like Mike George has a rap on him, but boy, you don't want to mess around against the Sioux defense when you're this deep in your own territory. George nearly getting 2 points there. The knee came down just ahead of the line.
Probably safe to say that Ryan Johnson hasn't had to deal with linebackers that move as quickly as the Sioux linebackers today. Good presence by Ryan Johnson to make sure that he got that ball outside the goal line before he hit down. That would have been huge. It would be 5-3 in the bottom of the 4th inning, and the Sioux would have time to get the punt and do a little damage with about 50 seconds to go.
Well, both teams can look at the other today and say, this is the best team we have faced this season. This really is a measuring stick for the rest of the year. The winner has a share of the conference lead. I almost said title. That's how it used to be at the end of the year. The loser still in it, but definitely not out of it because you've got 6 weeks left.
Yeah, but the winner will have definitely a leg up in the race for the conference title.
And home field.
So it'll be 3rd down and 21 for NDSU at its own 2-foot line. And as Pat mentioned, you don't want to get real tricky here. But the Bison have a lot of confidence in Ryan Johnson and a lot of confidence in Lamar Gordon. He tries to get to the outside, makes a pretty good gain up to about the 6, but it will bring up a 4th down.
And the Sioux have no more timeouts left. And is Lamar Gordon all right? He's up. Gordon just got by Ross Sanis there, the first man to him. Brad Wagner helping trip him up as Mike George helped stop him. And now the fact that the Sioux used all their timeouts will hurt them here as you've got 9 seconds on the play clock, 13 on the game clock here until halftime.
You have to wonder if the Bison will kick this one out of bounds. They do not. Aaron Peterson, a low line drive fielded by Graff. Fair caught at his 42-yard line. And with 3.6 seconds to play, UND will have one more shot at the end zone, and Kelby Klosterman has got the arm to get it done. I thought for a minute that the Bison may kick that one out of bounds just to prevent any chance of a return. But Bob Babbitt says kick it away, and it worked out just fine because now UND has 42 and a half yards to go with 3.6 seconds on the clock. We invite you to stay tuned for the Papa Murphy's halftime report with Dan Ashworth, and as soon as the first half is over with, Dan will sneak on over and try to get a word with UND head football coach Dale Lennon.
Now, this is what I was wondering. It's not going to be a Hail Mary. They are going to let Cameron Paterka take a crack at it here from 60 yards away.
Well, he missed a 59-yarder wide left last week, and he'll give it a shot. Here we go. Ball is down. The kick is up, and it will not get far enough. Falls just short as time expires. 3-3 is our halftime score. These two vaunted offenses able to accumulate just 6 total points in the first half in the hands of two good defenses. Let's send it down to sideline reporter Dan Ashworth. Dan.
Thanks, guys. Coach, 3-3 right now at halftime. Anything surprise you? Two good teams going at each other today.
All right, that's what I was hoping for. That we came out and we're aggressive defensively. We're playing well. Offensively, we got to get a little more aggressive now the second half, but things have gone as planned.
One maybe adjustment right now in the second half for you guys.
Well, I just think offensively, that's probably the one thing where we got to control the football. Our defense has been out there. We're getting tired, and that's a concern.
Dale, thanks for your time. 3-3 at the half. Steve and Pat, back to you.
Thanks very much, Dan. UND with 53 total yards unofficially in the first half, 53 rushing yards, no passing yards. NDSU not a whole lot better through the air, 11 passing yards, 62 yards on the ground. We'll be back with the Papa Murphy's halftime report after this.
We come in peace.
No, we come for food. Where Earthlings are always welcome.
They're the world's most favorite shows. And when you hear these sounds, you know it's the Screen Gems Network.
You are so clever, Master.
Join I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched for classic comedy.
You want me to vacate the premises?
And unforgettable magic. 5 times a week, only on the Screen Gems Network.
The original home renovation hit that moved America into a home remodeling boom now helps you do your home up right with This Old House Classics.
Our greatest hits.
Whether it's high-tech or low-tech, skilled craftsmanship or exciting locations.
Wow.
Get an understanding of how the whole process works.
See for yourself what This Old House is all about.
Catch This Old House Classics.
This is the story about a group of kids who volunteered.
Doing something nice for someone. We fixed stuff. Did some art projects with the kids. We fixed up his house. We worked in the woods. Cleaned up the park.
Did something for the planet.
We just did it. No other reason.
And you know what? It was great.
At first, they didn't know each other.
Well, that didn't last long.
This guy is really funny. These are my new friends.
Are you into it? Call 4-H or check out our website at areyouintoit.com.
Welcome back to the Fargo Dome and the Papa Murphy's halftime report. 3-3 NDSU and UND at the half. The second half should be a dandy, just like the first. Joining us now is Michael Marcial, the commissioner of the conference, the North Central Conference. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Marcial. What is it about North Central football? It seems like the NCC is always one of the top teams in the country, and it's always an up and down conference. What is it, maybe just a special thing about the NCC that you've seen in your 4 years as commissioner?
Well, I think we're very fortunate. Every conference is only as good as the institutions that make it up. And I think the North Central Conference has 10 of the finest institutions in the whole country. I think you see a great example today. You have two great academic institutions. They both have outstanding men's and women's athletics programs. And then you can see they have great football programs here. So the end result is because of the institutions, we have the best conference.
You get around to all the 10 schools, and not to single out the other schools, but have you ever seen anything quite like this?
Well, I think in all of sport, this is kind of what college sports is all about, and certainly college football. The state of North Dakota can be really proud today because this is what everybody's looking for all year.
What is the state of the league? Do you guys maybe want to look at Division I AA somewhere down the line? Is this conference good enough and ready enough to kind of make that mature level up there?
Well, I think we are. It's very natural in college athletics for institutions to kind of constantly be in the strategic planning process, and I think many of our institutions are doing that all the time. But we're about ready to start our 80th year here in the North Central Conference, and I anticipate we'll be here another 80 years.
All right, Mr. Marcial, thanks for your time, and enjoy the second half.
Thank you very much. Great to be here. Enjoy the game.
Mr. Marcial, the NCC commissioner, joining us at the Papa Murphy's Halftime Report. Well, there is more than a century of history in this rivalry. Thousands of players have helped write history over the last 70 years, and as Steve Hallstrom found out, it seems like everyone has a story to tell.
For some, it's the great players that stand out.
We had a tremendous running back tandem of Tim Muse, Paul Hatchett, with Bruce Gozamski and Joe Roller. I mean, you talk about a dynamite backfield. And I can remember in the 67 game, I think, when Bruce just had his choice of plays, we ruled.
For some, it's the plays that didn't go their way.
The one that I remember was in '82. We were driving the football, and I ended up fumbling the ball, and NDSU took that turnover and turned it into a touchdown, and we ended up losing the game. I think it was 10-3 or 7-3 that the final score was, and you know, that sticks with you a long time, and you know, it's one of those things that you just wish you can, you know, you remember the play and you remember the ball coming loose and you're just trying to recover it and you can't do it, and they got it.
Well, I think I was the MVP for the Sioux one year, and then I had a late hit on the sideline. They got a field goal, and then they blocked my punt and got another touchdown. I think that was their 10 points or something, and they called me the MVP of the game for them.
But whether you won or lost, there was always something you'd always remember.
On paper, we should have gotten beat like 120-7 or something like that. It was 14-13, and we had a pass drop in the end zone that would have won the ball game. I remember that game. Never forget that.
But the Sioux would not lose again until 1965.
Well, of course, I was fortunate to be part of that era where we won 12 straight games, and they were always, you know, fairly close games, but always, I think, you know, very well, hard-played games, hard-hitting games.
Each team won 5 games in the 70s.
And they were ranked high in the country. And we were not supposed to be in the game at all. And we go down and we score late and to go ahead, and we're going for a 2-point conversion to get a 5-point lead. And Donnie Severson, the quarterback, he backs up and he's going to throw the ball over the middle. He hits the guy on the back of the head. It bounces up the center, grabs it, and gets in the end zone for 2.
And I remember the Gold Star Marching Band was over in the east stands, and you know, we still had a grass field here, and quarterbacks, we were out warming up, and of course we were getting a few taunts from the band, you know. They were talking about what's your record and all of this. I remember Big Gunderson, one of the quarterbacks, said, just watch this, called a pass pattern, and bang, that ball went right into a tuba in the Gold Star Marching Band, and that's probably the best pass Greg threw all year.
The Bison then began a 12-game winning streak in 1981.
84 we played, and it was nasty cold. It was obviously one of the worst games that I played in as far as weather conditions, because in the first half we saw rain, sleet, and snow. But anyway, I get knocked out 3 times in the first half. And in the locker room, Doc Chris, you know, Doc Chris is great. And the trainers were looking at me, and he comes up to me and he goes, Chad, he goes, if you keep on getting knocked out like this, you're going to cause some serious brain damage, and you're not going to be smart enough to stay at NDSU. He looks away, and then he looks back at me and he goes, but you'll still be a Rhodes Scholar at UND. So, I mean, that right there, it just tells you the magnitude of the game when the team doctor's talking smack about the other team.
And probably the game that stands out is the turnaround game here after the long losing streak. To win the game here where Mike Mooney, a linebacker for us, stole the ball from a back and ran it in, and that proved to be the difference. That was a big one.
The ball is fumbled. It will be a Sioux touchdown as Mooney takes it in.
And that was probably a turnaround game for our whole program.
First time in 13 years, it can be said, the Sioux have beaten the Bison.
More memories will be made in 2000 on the Papa Murphy's Halftime Report. We'll be back. It is 3-3 UND and NDSU.
Prepare for the road ahead at North Dakota State University Fargo, offering 78 major courses of study. So get on the right road. NDSU, your major advantage.
Now I'm on the road to somewhere where all I need to know is right there.
It starts at the beginning with the right tools, the best service, and the most competitive price. So for every cut, every movement, and every finishing touch, Stewart looks to Tool Crib of the North to provide the knowledge and expertise of getting the job done right. Because when quality matters, there's just no substitute.
Acme Electric, Tool Crib of the North.
There's a reason we didn't call it the Little Picture Show. The ABC Big Picture Show, a whole new season. Starting Saturday, October 7th with Ransom.
Give me back my son!
A great movie every Saturday night on ABC.
After countless missions and countless victories, Colonel O'Neill must face his final defeat.
Welcome back to the land of the living, Colonel.
Because everyone and everything he once knew is gone.
Everyone in your team are all deceased.
Now, alone in the future.
The year is now 2077.
For Colonel O'Neill, there may be nothing left to fight for on the next Stargate SG-1.
As stewards of North Dakota State University, we recognize this as an institution with so much history and so much future.
Because of the education, because of the training, I was able to excel, whether it was programming, operating systems. It was fantastic.
Having a degree from NDSU is a major advantage.
Not only did I obtain a strong academic background, I was able to start a gene therapy company. We work with the top gene therapy researchers in the world.
Yeah, I've always been proud to be an NDSU graduate.
North Dakota State University, your major advantage.
Welcome back to the Papa Murphy Halftime Report. On the scoreboard, pair of threes, UND 3, NDSU 3. Well, he came from the capital of North Dakota. Now Jared Maher is in the capital of Division II football. He grew up in Bismarck, and the choice of NDSU came quicker than Maher gets to the quarterback.
Growing pains weren't a factor for Jared Maher. He was prepped at Bismarck St. Mary's under Dan Schmeeker in a system that paralleled NDSU. And once a Bison, Maher became a starter as a sophomore and quickly mixed together a style just right for the green and yellow.
I knew coming in that Sean Fredericks was playing the role of linebacker, and I set goals that when he left that I would jump into that position. And I'd like to think that I've taken something from every linebacker I've ever played with. You know, some of Sean Fredericks' smarts, some of Ben Oneman's aggressiveness, you know, his agility, and some of Wade Kittle's adaptiveness, stuff like that. I'd like to think that I took a lot of that stuff, kind of built my own style.
Maher is a quiet-spoken man off the field, but on it, you don't want to cross his path. As a junior, Maher led the Bison in tackles and defensive points. A good thing, right? Well, Maher always looks for improvement.
I guess I don't think I'm ever satisfied. I think my coaches will be the first ones to say that I'm my toughest critic. If I have 13 good plays in a game and I miss one, I'm going to be frustrated with that play. And I'll go into that film session a little bit and probably be dreading that play. And I'll probably overlook some of the good things I did. I think a lot of it for me was sometimes just laying in bed at night thinking about what kind of player I wanted to be. And then I think that if you think about something enough and you believe in it, it automatically happens.
Today, Maher straps his helmet for the final time against UND. He saw the last Bison victory, but now this senior starter wants to see the Bison raise the nickel in the dome.
It's an outstanding experience. It's really unique. And, you know, over the last few years, being able to just take a step back and think about what's actually transpiring here is amazing. And, you know, this is the fan support that we have and the fan support that they have. It's outstanding. And it's a rivalry, and it's a deep-seated rivalry. There's some hatred there on both sides, more from the fans than the players, because I think there's a mutual respect between the players. But it's a game where 11 guys on either side of the ball, on both sides, come out and they play their butts off. And that's what football's all about. So I've always dreamed about placing up that nickel. I'm a senior, and I'd like to finish the Bison Sioux game placing that nickel, and hopefully that happens.
Speaking of linebackers, these days UND's Ryan Govan is a hot commodity. A majority of NFL teams have visited Grand Forks to take a look. Sean Bartel has his look at Mr. Govan.
Some players are destined to play in the NFL, but with Ryan Govan, you'd think he's destined for some extra attention. You see, Govan is one of 9 children and one of 6 who, like their father, went to UND. So fighting for attention is nothing new for Ryan, but as he ends his UND career, he can't afford to lose focus.
I want to win the conference again as a team. I never bought a ring last year. I told everybody, I said, I figured if I can't win one my senior year, I don't want one, you know. So it'll be nice to have a shot if you do, I guess, and do what I can. But if not, I've always got a good degree to fall back on. So.
Pretty heady stuff for a prospect. Yes, in May, he will graduate with a degree in medical engineering, but he may have to put that aside for a while. You see, Govan's chance at the NFL is legitimate. His long frame, 6'4" to be exact, is just what the NFL likes to see.
And a single setback.
And his speed, well, it's enough to excite even the quietest scout.
Ryan Govan holds him down.
I think he's a relentless competitor. He's very hard-nosed, and his competitiveness is probably his strongest asset. He doesn't bother who he lines up against or matter who he lines up against. You know, he's going to play hard and get after it.
As for his play on the field, some say he's a quiet, hard worker.
He's not a real big talker on the field, but he gets out there and leads by example.
And some say you can hear him coming a mile away.
I know where he is on the field at all times because I can hear him screaming from. I just hear him coming, you know, so you can tell where the ball goes. So it's pretty good.
For sophomore quarterback Ryan.
Regardless, he's a leader, and when he leaves, he wouldn't mind being remembered as
a good guy, not being in trouble, and not causing problems for the program. And hopefully, there'll be younger kids that base that on that and say, hey, someday I want to be like Ryan, you know, play like he did or play hard like he did.
Pretty simple stuff worthy of our attention. For the ABC Dakota Sports Network, I'm Sean Bartel.
Thanks, Sean, and thank you, everybody, for watching the Papa Murphy Halftime Report. 3-3, we're back with the second half after this.
Muskies Mania is here. It's hot fun on the frozen ice. Minot Muskies hockey. Exciting, extreme. What a way to play. The Muskies face off against the Bismarck Bobcats September 28th and the Bozeman Ice Dogs September 30th. Both games at 7:05 p.m. All Seasons Arena. Reserve tickets at these locations or charge by phone at 1-800-GOT-5. Get ready, get set, get excited. It's Muskies hockey. What a way to play.
Bob's Photo. Take a shot. It's a snap.
Bob's Photo in North Bismarck has everything you'd ever want when it comes to cameras and camcorders. From the latest in Sony camcorders to the hottest digital cameras, you'll get picture-perfect quality every time. No matter what your budget, Bob's Photo has a camera for you, along with the expert advice on how to use them.
Bob's Photo. Bob's Photo. It's a snap.
If you're over 50, this message is for you. Over time, if undetected, colorectal cancer becomes a killer. But screening tests can find it early when treatment is most effective. Even better, this is one cancer you can prevent. Screening finds precancerous polyps that can be removed before they turn into colorectal cancer. So stop this disease in its tracks. Medicare and many insurance plans help pay for screening. See your doctor and screen for life.
KBMY TV, Bismarck.
The classes they're great. Professors are wonderful. Everything about this university is high quality.
The best thing about UND is that there's so many ways to get involved in the university community, so it really makes it a nice place to be.
Campus is very beautiful. The friendly professors and staff, it really does become a close-knit community.
UND is more than just a college itself. I mean, you learn more than just an education here. They provide so many experiences and opportunities for you that's just incredible.
We're ready for our second half of football from the Fargo Dome in the 107th meeting of the Bison and the Sioux. Aaron Peterson getting ready to kick it. UND will get first crack at the football in the second half. Peterson's kick is deep. 5 yards deep in the end zone. Graff will bring it out. Across the 10, trying to get to outside, and he's knocked down to the 21-yard line. Steve Lockway in on the stop. Nate Keller and Dale Hurd also in on the activity for the NDSU kick coverage team. Well, Pat, some pretty interesting numbers from the first half. The one that stands out to me is that we haven't had a receiver catch a pass yet today.
Well, you look at the numbers, Steve. I mean, these look like quarter totals after one quarter, and these are the halftime numbers. 3 first downs for North Dakota. That should be 5 first downs for NDSU. 3-3 is our score. 73 yards offense for the Bison, 54 for the Sioux. The offenses need a little work to do.
Klosterman rolling right, finds no one. Jared Maher in hot pursuit, and he'll throw it away. It'll be 2nd and 10 on the 21-yard line.
But you're right. Kelby Klosterman 0 for 4 in the first half. 0 passing yards. The Bison have 11 yards through the air. Johnson 2 of 7, and 10 of those were to the tight end Tangen. Gophers have defeated Illinois 44-10. Illinois rated 24th in the country. Pete Campion, in case you're tuning in late, the Bison offensive lineman injured on the 3rd play of the game. Dislocated ankle is the word on Pete Campion.
2nd and 10, Sioux at their own 21. Give Perkarevich off the right side. Nothing there. Luke Hendrickson in to mess it up. And Tom Krenz knifing in from his outside linebacker spot to make the tackle. It will be 3rd down and about 9 yards to go. Will the real Gopher football team please stand up?
And we'll see how Wisconsin does today against Michigan. Luke Hendrickson, the junior from Cooperstown, slicing in there to force a 3rd down and 9. And I think the happiest guys in the building right now are the defensive coordinators, Casey Bradley of North Dakota State, Bubba Schweigert of UND.
Both teams have been outstanding on defense. Both offensive coordinators looking to up things up a little bit. Now Klossman back to pass, under pressure, and down he goes at the 22-yard line. Klosterman scrambled out of the pocket, actually made a positive gain on the play, but not the gain that he was looking for. It'll bring up 4th down and 9 yards to go.
Clint Gelstad, big number 98, out of Velva, North Dakota, bringing this crowd to its feet here early in the 2nd half as we get started. Looked like Kelby waited a little too long to make his decision. Had he gone earlier, he might have been able to find the hole. But the Bison stop him at the line.
Dan Hildebrandt back to punt. NDSU lines up as if they're going to come after it. Long count, and here they come. But good protection, and Hildebrandt gets off a high booming punt. Richard Lewis tries to make the catch, and he's run into at the 40-yard line without an opportunity to make the grab, and that will be the old kick returner's interference call there.
Danny Lawson, number 28, out of Minot, North Dakota. You've got to give him a couple of yards, and Danny did not.
Well, one of the things that's almost been an inside joke around Fargo is that Richard Lewis will not fair catch a football, even if it would be in his best interest to do so, as it would have been on that last play. But Richard Lewis has returned 3 punts for touchdowns this year.
The downside is he's had a little bit of fumbling trouble, right?
He had one last week where maybe a little unfair to Richard to call it a fumble. He was moving right to go get the kick, and the coverage guy was blocked into him by one of his teammates. So maybe, again, another spot where he could have fair caught the ball, but that one for sure, it wouldn't have made any difference. Here's the official call.
Fair catch, interference, 15 yards, 1st down.
Now, I don't know, can you have fair catch interference when you don't signal for a fair catch? I did not see Richard signal for it, unless that was it right there. That's a pretty lame attempt.
Well, his hand is not up. I mean, he barely moved it up, and I think maybe that's what Lawson was thinking. But you do have to give him a couple of yards.
So NDSU starts out in great field position inside Sioux territory. The give to Gordon, finds a hole off the left side. It closes quickly. Nice job of blocking on the left side by Paul Keller and Chuck Clabo, opening up a bit of a hole. Lamar Gordon with 3 yards on 1st down, and at the point of attack, when Lamar Gordon got that football, it looked like he had a lot more room than that, but credit to the Sioux defense for closing the hole quickly. Let's go down to Dan Ashworth.
Hey guys, you may notice on the right side, 2 new offensive linemen. Number 71, Shane Ever, came in for Pete Campion, and Bubba Kopp, Jason Kopp, in for Josh Hobble. Just a chronic kind of a stinger in his neck. Nothing new, just not feeling good today.
The give to Lamar Gordon, and he's swarmed under. Eric Schmidt out of Banda makes the hit in the backfield, and he was looking Lamar Gordon the entire way. From the top of the defensive formation, he came charging hard, and he was there before Lamar Gordon was able to even really tuck that ball away. And again for NDSU, a 3rd and long, a situation the Bison are not familiar with this season.
Schmidt running and gunning right toward him right off the bat, and Schmidt is a player who's made great strides for the Sioux this year. We like to see those players play aggressive, and he's picked up his game in that area.
3 receivers in for the Bison on 3rd down and 10 yards to go. Johnson out of the shotgun with Lamar Gordon right next to him. Sioux coming with a blitz. Pass gets away and almost caught, almost intercepted. Eric Nelson, coming out of his cut, fell down. And that's just the freaky kind of thing that this game has shown the Bison. That has not happened. Things like that have not happened through the first 4 games. But there is a penalty marker on the field, and the Bison are happy about it.
Defensive holding. And Dale Lennon wants an explanation.
Well, that's a huge penalty because it was going to be 4th and 10, and defensive holding carries the automatic first down with it. So NDSU will keep this drive alive.
Holding on a defense, on a pass, automatic first down.
And now the Bison are close to being within Aaron Peterson's range as well. Peterson has a 52-yarder, so I guess you could say they would be within Aaron Peterson range at this point. He set the NDSU all-time career field goal record last week with a 52-yarder against South Dakota. What a way to get the record. Toss to Gordon, trying to get to the outside. Brad Wagner up quickly. Craig Riando offering support. No room for Lamar Gordon. Great pursuit by the UND secondary.
That's what UND wants to see. As long as he's running sideways, he can't hurt you. Better to string him along than to let him go forward. And the Sioux do a good job of just staying at home and playing the man. And Craig Riando finally forcing him out. Sioux defense needs a little boost here anyway after the penalty problems.
Bob Babbage says the first thing you notice about the Sioux when you watch them on videotape is they fly to the football like nobody else we've seen all year. Now it's 2nd down. A reverse to Shane Detman. Tries to cut it inside. A nice job by Eric Schmidt to force it back inside. I was thinking to myself, if they were going to run that play, they ran it earlier in the year for a touchdown against Texas A&M Kingsville. And Shane Detman got the ball, kind of the pitch reverse from Ryan Johnson, but a good job of staying at home by the UND defense, and it'll bring up another 3rd and long.
They go one way, they come back the other way, and Eric Schmidt was just waiting for Detman. Detman unable to make his cut quickly enough, and Schmidt catches up with him.
So it's 3rd and 10 with 10:49 to go in the 3rd quarter. Nice to have you with us on this Saturday afternoon in Fargo. Johnson with 3 receivers in the pattern, throws, caught by Shane Detman. Can he get to the stick? He does. Gets away to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, NDSU. And the first pass completed to a wide receiver for either team goes for a touchdown to Shane Detman. A 32-yard score. It is 9-3. Aaron Peterson on to tack on the extra point.
And it took until the 10:31 mark of quarter number 3 to get the first TD of this game.
Spotted, booted, up, and good. So with 10:31 to play, we've got a touchdown. It's 10-3 NDSU.
Now some helpful holiday hints from the Bundys.
Has anyone picked out a tree yet?
Oh, you know, the tree in the Ginty house sure is pretty this year.
Kids, that's your job. He throws it out the day after Christmas, so bring it home.
Right there.
Learn how to find that special gift.
Okay, he's gone. Now for Daddy's present. Bud, run upstairs and get a tie out of Daddy's closet.
I'll get a box.
On the next Married with Children.
Monday at 10 p.m.
Craig Riando, one of the surest tacklers on the UND defense, but he could not corral Shane Detman.
He had him around the waist, but he didn't have a lot of him. And Detman just spins away. A nice effort here by the free safety Mike O'Neill, but it's too late. Here's another look from the end zone. As he gets position, Detman does on Riando, but then spins away, and it's off to the races here. Nice fake move, but He's in. O'Neal can't stop him. And after one completion to a tight end and one completion to a running back, all on the Bison side, we have our first completion to a receiver today and our first touchdown.
And one touchdown in a game like this can mean a whole lot. The Sioux will get their chance to answer. Aaron Peterson high and deep. Graff takes it at the goal line. Out across the 15, trying to get to the corner. Does. He's out across the 25, almost to the 30-yard line. He outran Nate Keller to the corner, and that's saying something because Keller was a sprint champion in high school at Valley City High. But Graff has 4.35 speed. There are two guys on the UND team that have been timed at 4.35. Jed Perkarevich being the other one. So the Sioux have some guys that can motor, and they'll try to motor up the field now and get the tying touchdown with 10:19 to play in the third quarter, 10-3 NDSU.
With that last drive, the Bison now in triple figures offensively, about double what the Sioux have with 54.
It was a 5-play, 42-yard scoring drive capped by the 32-yard pass to Shane Detman. First and 10 UND at its own 28-yard line. Pitch to Perkarevich, trying to get outside. He does, but he's shouldered out of bounds by Travis Sturdivant at the 31-yard line. They'll mark it up closer to the 32. That'll be a 4-yard gain, bring up 2nd and 8.
Sturdivant coming in for the injured Luke Schaefer, who is out for about a month now, isn't he?
That's the preliminary word. At first they were fearing it would be a season-long injury because they weren't sure if there was some ACL damage in addition to the MCL damage. There was not, and so they're hoping to have Luke Schaefer back in about a month. 2nd down, 6 yards to go on the Sioux 32-yard line. Double receivers to the left for Kelby Klosterman, and he wants to look there. He throws, and it is caught. The officials mark it as a catch outside the 40-yard line, and that's the first completed pass of the afternoon for UND.
Robbie Holmquist, the senior out of Buffalo, Minnesota, a nice catch low to the ground, got in front of his man. And at this point, it's all concentration to keep the hands under the ball and between the ball and the carpet. And the official was right there to get a good look at it.
First and 10 on the 41. Perkarevich with the carry. Nothing there. Clint Gelsted beneath the pile. Chad Simmers up from his linebacker spot to help out with the tackle. And Ryan Evenson also involved. Ryan Evenson from Climax, Minnesota is a guy who has come a long, long ways in the last 2 years. He had 9 solo tackles last week against USD, and that was a team high. He is the team's leading tackler and a player that plays with a lot of emotion, a lot of spirit, a very athletic, a very intense player. 2nd down, 10 yards to go at the 41.
And comes from a good football program at Climax Fisher.
Pitch to Perkarevich, looking for room. Again, not much there. The Bison flying to the football. We've talked a lot about the UND defense and the pursuit that they have, how quickly they move to the ball, and the Bison are the same kind of a team. They employ a little bit different defensive front. They'll go a 4-3 front seven as opposed to the 3-4, but you see a lot of the same kind of things. It's never usually one guy making the tackle. It's 4 or 5 guys when they blow the whistle. Kelby Klosterman brings the Sioux offense to the line with 3 receivers in the package. Running backs in the I formation behind him on 3rd and 8. Fake give. Klosterman now looking deep. Tommy Krenz gives him a shove. Klosterman gets away, now buys time, and wide open in the secondary, and it's caught by Jesse Smith. He's inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line. The sophomore from Wahpeton, North Dakota, broke free, and there was nobody within 15 yards when Klosterman pulled up and made the throw.
And Klosterman made the right decision because Dan Graff was also wide open on the far side at about the 30-yard line. Klosterman allowing himself to buy a little time here with his scrambling ability. Suddenly, here's Jesse Smith all alone, which is the longer gain of the 2 because Graff was several yards behind the play.
Striking similarity to the touchdown pass to Travis Headley from a year ago. Kelby Klosterman has got a gun, and now it's 1st and 10 on the 18. Klosterman fakes the give, now keeps, pitches it to Perkarevich to the corner. And Jay Hatley comes up and puts a hit on him at the 14, and Jay Hatley got his bell rung a little bit on that one. A flag comes in from the near sideline. Illegal use of the hands on UND. Well, when Jed Perkarevich hits you, you know you've been hit. He's a pretty big boy, and he can run awfully fast. That time he put his head down and met Jay Hatley at the 15-yard line.
Helmet to helmet. That's what banged up Jed's right thumb a couple of weeks ago, was taking a helmet in the South Dakota game.
He had 214 yards against Central Washington in the opener. Illegal push in the back on the offense. Perkarevich, one of just 8 backs in UND history to run for that many yards in one game.
I think that's 5 penalties on the Sioux now.
Will replay first down, but it will be 1st and 17 now on the NDSU 29-yard line. 7:36 to play, third quarter. NDSU up 10-3. The only touchdown of the game, a touchdown pass, Ryan Johnson to Shane Detman, 32 yards. Klosterman give to Perkarevich, trying to get outside, but he's stuffed. Mike Rohn up from the cornerback spot, and Steve Knorr from the defensive tackle position to make the stop.
Watch here as the fullback Andy Zahn tries to knock a man out of the way, Ehrenberg, but the Bison are waiting for him there. Number 22, Mike Rohn out of Racine, Wisconsin. You mentioned the group tackling earlier, Steve. You don't see just one guy in this game. You see a lot of them on the tackle. And the Sioux now faced with 2nd and 18, and they don't want 3 here. They want to tie this thing up if they can.
Bison fans on their feet, trying to rally their team. Klosterman rolls right, throws, and it's caught by Luke Schleissner at the 15. A nice arm tackle there on the near sideline. Mike Rohn again involved on the play. Be a gain of about 10 yards, and it will still bring up a 3rd down, and we'll call it about 8 yards to go.
Schleissner missed last week's game at Mankato with a hyperextended knee, and the South Dakota game the week before. I asked him before today, how are you? He gave me the thumbs up. If he's not 100%, he's close to it. So still a lot of yardage left for the Sioux here on 3rd and 8, 6:39 to go.
Big play for both teams. 3rd down and 8 yards to go at the NDSU 15-yard line. Klosterman with 2 receivers. Back to throw. Lobs one to the end zone. Incomplete. He was looking for the big tight end, John Kyvig. Bill Ehrenberg on the coverage, and Ehrenberg in great position there. That brings us up a 4th and 8, and Cameron Paterka trots on for the field goal try.
Casey Bradley says we'll take that anytime. Make him kick the field goal. Don't allow the touchdown. And that was one thing I was about to mention, Steve, before the play. The Sioux haven't really used their tight ends today. They tried to get to Travis Headley one time, but that's the first time they've tried it for Kyvig. Chad Mustard is the other tight end for the Sioux. Mustard playing football. He's got 2 years of eligibility after a fine basketball career.
Ball will be spotted down at the 22-yard line. Paterka from the right hash. The kick is up, and it is good. So with 6:29 to go in the 3rd quarter, the lead has been trimmed to 4. Bison 10, Sioux 6.
Your friends at MDU thought you could use a moment of quiet, relaxation, a brief moment to appreciate the simple things in life. It's all part of our role of being a safe, reliable provider. Montana Dakota Utilities Company, in your community to serve.
There's something different about September in the Northland this year. Yeah, we thought you'd spot it. The amazing deal on the Northland Edition F-150 4x4. It's fully loaded with an off-road package, a Triton V8, AC, anti-lock brakes, and power windows, doors, and locks. And for 30 days only, it's yours for just $239 a month. Yep, through September only. Get Ford's legendary toughness plus the lowest lease price of the year, just $239 a month. But hurry, this special time won't last. Get to your Northland Ford store today.
10-6 is our score with 6:29 to play in the 3rd quarter. Today's game is brought to you by Bremer and your local Northland Ford dealers. Nice to have you with us from the Fargo Dome on this very pleasant late September afternoon. Pat, this is a day you almost wish you were out at Old Dakota Field enjoying the elements.
Boy, we've had some great weather, haven't we? We are living right, but from here on in, it'll all be indoors unless these teams meet in the playoffs in Grand Forks this season. It's the last year of Old Memorial Stadium, built in 1927, and then they'll move into the Alaris Center. Quick score from out of town. Omaha beat St. Cloud State 36-0, so the Mavericks are now 3-0 atop the NCC.
High short kick, fair catch signaled for and caught by Jared Peck at the 23-yard line.
Of course, Omaha came into the day with the Bison, the Sioux, and the Jackrabbits all tied for first in the NCC at 2-0. And we suspect that South Dakota State will win its game with Morningside, although we don't have a final yet. So with 6 weeks left, it's still anybody's race.
Another indication of the style of football that the Sioux play. Again, playing the field position game, not wanting to allow the big return or give the chance for that to happen. So they'll say, we'll make your defense go 73 yards on us. That's where we're at. Give to Lamar Gordon, gets outside to the 25, outside to the 30, keeps fighting his way out close to a first down at the 32-yard line. Boy, that play didn't look pretty when it started, but Gordon able to fight his way through for about 8 yards.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish, and Lamar Gordon has had some beautiful finishes. Brad Wagner, I think, was the guy who got a hand on him to trip him up, the strong safety. And no sooner do I say about the South Dakota State Morningside game, we now get a score on that. The Jackrabbits lead the Mustangs 41-14 with 13 minutes left in the fourth. Northern Colorado's up 37-9 on Mankato late in the third.
NDSU scored a touchdown on its first possession. They're now underway in their second drive. Gordon out across the 35, hit hard. He will have a first down. Mike George in on the tackle. We've seen a lot of Mike George this afternoon. John Landress also in there from his nose tackle spot.
John Landress, a nice backup to Scott Schultz, and he'll get his chance when Schultz takes a breather, and John Landress just plugging up the middle as Scott Schultz would have done. Landress is kind of an overlooked guy on that defensive line, but he's been around the program for quite a few years.
So it's 1st and 10 on the NDSU 36. Give to Gordon, nothing there. Coming in from his linebacker spot, Eric Schmidt. His linebacker spot, it was Eric Schmidt. You got to be careful with that, Pat.
Yes. Well, who would have thunk it? The running backs that many thought would dominate this game have been held in check today. Gordon with double figures still, his 100-yard streak.
The Bison offense came into this game with 27 plays of 25 or more yards. To this point, they've just had the one, but that one was a touchdown pass to Shane Detman. 2nd and 10 on the 36. Under pressure, Johnson throwing deep, looking for Detman. The coverage is there and knocked away. Detman playing the part of the defensive back on that one, and Craig Riando is livid. Looked like Detman tried to give Riando a double move on that play, and Riando did not bite and was step for step with Detman.
Dale Lennon is livid, and he's step for step with the official right now. You called it, Steve, using the hand to bat it away and prevent the interception. Riando had 2 of them last week at Mankato. And Dale Lennon still jawing with the official on the far side.
We understand the attendance for today's game, 19,020 people. A sellout, and that breaks the old record of 19,007 that was set back here in 1998. This is now the largest crowd that has ever watched a single game sporting event in North Dakota history. Glad that you could be with us, though, wherever you're at. Not able to be here at the Fargo Dome. We'll be back with more of the third quarter after this.
Some provide the power, some the heart, others the leadership. But when they come together, they become something even greater. That's why Norwest and Wells Fargo are teaming up. The result will be a bank that's the best of both of us, and a team that's stronger than ever. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Attention Earthlings, for the most food and fun in the universe, come inside Space Aliens Grill and Bar. Choose from a galaxy of delicious menu items, including the out-of-this-world outer space onion, bread bowl salads topped with grilled chicken, Cajun chicken, or shredded barbecue pork. Buy a roasted pizza with your favorite toppings, or award-winning barbecue ribs. Don't forget the Bar from Mars with 2-for-1 beverages during Monday through Friday's happy hour. Space Aliens Grill and Bar, where Earthlings are always welcome.
We've got 4:20 to go in the third quarter. NDSU leading this storied rivalry renewal today. 10-6 is our score. 4:20 to go in the third quarter. If you needed any evidence that these teams were fairly similar in talent level, you got it game one of the season. The Bison beat Texas A&M Kingsville 52-7. The Sioux, the next 2 days later, actually did the same exact thing to Central Washington. 52-7 was the final score. Kingsville came to Fargo that opening weekend, ranked in the top 20. It's 3rd and 10. Ball on the 36-yard line. Ryan Johnson with double receivers to the right. Backs in the eye behind him. Back and looking, gets good protection. Now throws looking deep for Eric Nelson. He's got it! A great diving catch by Eric Nelson at the 19-yard line. Ryan Johnson right on the money. Perfect throw. The coverage was there, but the ball was perfectly placed. And NDSU again is in the red zone.
Boy, how many times can we say it? The man is phenomenal, and he was well guarded with Craig Riondo on his back. A super catch, nice extension. Riondo behind him, just the way the receiver would have ordered it. And a nice throw on the money by Ryan Johnson.
A 44-yard pass to Eric Nelson. Now Lamar Gordon gets his turn inside the 20. Ball's taken away. Wagner has it, but the officials say he was down. And the Sioux are upset about it. Shades of Mike Mooney in 1993. Brad Wagner trying to steal the ball away and take it back the other direction. He thought he had it. To his chagrin, the officials do not agree. And it'll be 2nd and 8 now at the 18-yard line.
Let's take another look at it here. Into the pile it goes. We lose sight of it. There's Wagner prying it out. It was a Mike Mooney-like play because Mooney took that ball away from Jason Miller. The ball never hit the ground.
Johnson looking at Detman in the corner. Passes out of bounds. Good coverage by Dustin Thornburg. That time, Detman tried to do a little out-and-up route. And Thornburg was there. Good coverage. It'll bring up 3rd down and 8 at the UND 18.
It took us until 3 minutes left in the third quarter to mention Mike Mooney. You always think of certain people in this Sioux Bison rivalry. Of course, Kevin Feeney no longer around here. He had a 4-touchdown game against the Sioux in the playoffs.
Jeff Bentram set the all-time NCAA Division II touchdown record, if I remember it right, before my time in Fargo, but you don't have to be here long before you learn those kind of things. Deshaun Perkins now into the backfield on 3rd and 8. Johnson looking to the end zone, looking for the tight end, Tangen, and it's knocked away. Mike O'Neill, the free safety, knocks it away, and Tangen thought there was a little contact, as did the NDSU student section. The officials say no, it was a clean play, and it's 4th down. Aaron Peterson in to kick.
I thought there was a little, too. It might have been just a little love tap there as he puts his arm on him just to mark where he is, knocks him away, but nothing blatant enough for the official to call it.
Pass interference is one of those touchy calls. It could go either way so many times. But they all seem to even out in the end, don't they, Pat?
Mm-hmm.
Ball will be put down at the 25-yard line. A 35-yard attempt by Peterson. Spotted, booted. It is up, and it is good. Aaron Peterson with his 2nd field goal of the game. 13-6 NDSU. 2:56 to go in the 3rd.
Shoulder to lean on
wise and warm, strong hands to guide you, city or farm.
Farmers Union Insurance of North Dakota. Strong hands to help you maintain your family's way of life in the city or on the farm.
Safe in the feeling, you're never alone.
Security from a friend you can lean on. Farmers Union Insurance.
Bob's Photo. Take a shot. It's a snap.
Bob's Photo in North Bismarck has everything you can imagine when it comes to cameras, pictures, and accessories. They have a complete selection of bags and tripods, frames, albums, mats, and yes, they even have film. But best of all, Bob's Photo puts the finest finish on all your photos.
Bob's Photo. Bob's Photo. It's a snap.
Dueling field goal kickers here in the third quarter. Cameron Paterka boots one for UND, and NDSU's Aaron Peterson answers with a 35-yard field goal. It was a 9-play, 58-yard drive. The key play, Ryan Johnson to Eric Nelson, a 44-yard catch, set up the Bison in the red zone for the Sioux, and Aaron Peterson boots the 35-yarder. It's now 13-6. NDSU, we've got 2:56 to play in the third quarter. The Bison have outscored their opponents 214-34 coming in this year. The Sioux are not much different.
Dale Lennon said in our pregame show that he thought special teams would possibly decide this game, and right now they are.
Squibber. Pooch kick, takes a funny bounce, stays in bounds. It's a live ball, and it's recovered by NDSU. Matt Swanson grabs it at the 30-yard line. And Aaron Peterson could not have done it any better if he'd have stood out there all day trying it. It went about 40 yards downfield. Took about straight up in the air into the waiting arms of Matt Swanson. A big special teams call by Bob Babbage pays off, and the UND defense back on the field after just finishing up a 9-play drive.
And how many of you at home are thinking back to a few years ago in Grand Forks when Bob Babbage opened the second half with an onside kick, which turned the game around and led to a Bison victory? Well, he topped himself again with this one.
So it's first down, NDSU at the 30-yard line of UND. Johnson gives to Gordon, tries to find some room, just about gets to the outside, but Mike George trips him up at the 28. Gain of about 2 yards, and will bring up 2nd and 8. That ball was 2 feet from going out of bounds, with that crazy shaped football bounced straight up in the air, and Matt Swanson was there to catch it. Matt Kelm now checking into the Bison lineup.
Here it is again. Caught it, stayed in bounds. Sioux can't do anything about it, too late.
2nd and 8 at the 28. Johnson back to pass. Now he's got some room. He'll run it himself inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. I didn't catch who it was, but one of the Bison offensive linemen really laid the lumber to one of the Sioux defensive players on that pass protection scheme.
Looked like
maybe it was Jeremy Lure, the fullback.
Lure taking Goldman down, and a good decision by Johnson there. Had a lot of green in front of him, and all the defenders were at least 10 yards away.
3rd and 3 now, NDSU at the UND 23-yard line. We've got 1:32 to go in the third quarter. Now a fumbled snap, and Johnson finds the handle. That could have been a big mistake. Johnson again, the recipient of a good bounce, and pounces on it. NDSU football, but the third down opportunity is wasted, and Aaron Peterson, well, his leg might still be warm anyway. I guess that's the good news. Ryan Johnson now will try to corral the snap and put it down for Aaron Peterson at the 33-yard line. So a 43-yard field goal try coming up by Aaron Peterson, the junior out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The kick is on the way. And it is good. Aaron Peterson is 3 of 3. And the Bison Bison have built a 16-6 lead with 41 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Well, the Bison, Aaron Peterson and Ryan Johnson, the holder kicker combination there, thought that there was some kind of extracurricular activities of some kind, because both of them went over to the referee after the kick was away and tried to plead their case. The official was not buying it.
Sioux have had a few blocked kicks and punts this year, but that's what they're complaining about, is they're saying that, I think it was
Travis O'Neill
running into Peterson there after the kick.
Let's go down to Dan Ashworth.
After that pooch punt by Aaron Peterson, NDSU probably wanted 7, but at this point, 3 points ain't bad on a little tricky play that could have bounced back the other way for UND.
Right, you are, Dan Ashworth. It's like a gift, 3 points almost when you get a good bounce like that. Now Aaron Peterson lays into one. Dan Graff 5 yards deep. He'll bring it out. Across the 10, looking for some room. Penned in and thrown down at the 20-yard line. And a bevy of penalty flags ensues. Steve Lockway in on the tackle for NDSU. Dale Hurt there as well. And again, we wait to see what the infraction might be. Holding on to Sioux on the return. That'll pin them back a little bit deeper in UND territory.
There appeared to be some holding on the far side of the field as Graff came out. And Dale Lennon wants another explanation. Penalties have been a nagging problem
Holding. Offense. First down.
For both teams, but the Sioux are kind of reverting to early season form here with, that's got to be about 6 or 7 penalties on them by now.
And now the southwest corner of the Fargo Dome comes alive as the NDSU faithful get on their feet to cheer on their defense. Klosterman under center. Gives to Perkarevich, trying to cut back. Not much there. Chad Simmers, Travis Sturdivant coming up to lend run support. A gain of 1. He'll bring up a 2nd and 9. Nice move by Perkarevich. Trying to get back to the middle, and there you see Pete Campion, the Bison tackle out of Fergus Falls, Minnesota, in a position that he didn't want to be in. He was injured early in the first quarter and has not returned. But lending his support from the sidelines. We've got 3 quarters in the books from the Fargo Dome. The Bison have a 10-point lead when we come back for the 4th quarter.
North Dakota farmers have to pay millions more than Canadians for products to protect their crops. Our representative in Washington keeps talking about a solution, but nothing happens. Last year, North Dakota's House Majority Leader John Dorso got a law passed to allow the state to help our farmers. But the Washington regulators didn't like it and threatened to put our farmers in jail. John Dorso wants to go to Congress and fix it once and for all.
And I'm just the guy to do it.
John Dorso for Congress. No excuses, just results.
It's not just about saving money. It's about spending time. Just dropping by and creating bonds rather than simply buying them. At Edward Jones, it's never just about investing. It's about knowing you and your dreams.
My every hope, my life, my world, it all begins with a dream.
Edward Jones, investing in you and your dreams.
It's 16-6 as we begin the 4th quarter. Today's game brought to you by Bremer and your local Northland Ford dealers. The fans on the north end of the stadium are pleased that the 3rd quarter has come to an end so they can cheer on their team from close proximity. Double receivers in for the Sioux. Perkarevich the single back behind Klosterman. Rolling right, Klosterman looks to throw. Now he throws a deep downfield. And it is caught, but out of bounds. What a catch by Dan Graff. Good coverage, double coverage by Mike Rohn. And it looked like Bill Ehrenberg also in on the coverage. And Graff somehow came away with it, but did not come down in bounds.
And the way they were going at each other, I was half expecting a penalty flag to come down. We just kind of missed it there. It looked like a little push before the play, or before the ball got down there, but Dan Graff has been neutralized by this Bison defense.
Looked like a pump and go route from Kelby Klosterman that time, but the Bison were in good defensive position. 3rd and 8 now on the 12-yard line of UND. Kelby Klosterman hit as he throws, and it's caught by Luke Schleisner inside the 50 to the 44-yard line. What a great throw under pressure. Kelby Klosterman hit as he let it go. Luke Schleisner got behind the defense. It's a big gain for the Sioux.
Well, the Sioux figure they can't do it on the sideline. Let's try it down the middle of the field. And Luke Schleisner, who scored a touchdown here 2 years ago, comes up with the biggest receiving play of the day for the Sioux.
A 46-yard pass and catch. Much like the Johnson to Eric Nelson hookup earlier, and now the Sioux are in Bison territory. Perkarevich off the left side, across the 40, inside to the 38-yard line. Clint Jelstead on the tackle. Steve Knorr, also part of the stop, now comes to the sideline for a breather. Steve Knorr has been a trooper today. They weren't sure how much he'd play. Had arthroscopic knee surgery on Monday of this week. Has seen a lot of action today.
Schleisner came in here coming off the hyperextended knee. It looked okay on that catch before. Bison outscoring opponents 31-14 in the fourth. The Sioux are outscoring their opponents 44-7 in the fourth.
2nd down, 6 yards to go from the NDSU 38. Klosterman back to pass. He has time. Now throws, and it is too high for Schleisner. Schleisner running the in pattern at about the 27-yard line. He was open for a minute, but Klosterman's throw a bit too tall, and he'll bring up a 3rd down and about 6 yards to go.
Well, Luke's a good-sized kid. Schleisner's 6'2", but he would have had to be about 6'7" to grab that one.
If you saw Kelby Klosterman walking down the street, you would not believe how far that he can throw a ball if somebody told you that. He has got a rifle for an arm. That time just gave it a little bit too much of a gun. 3rd and 6 now at the 38. Klosterman back to pass. Throws out. It's Kyvig. He's got it. The tackle made by Ryan Evenson, but Kyvig fights his way to the marker, and he may have a 1st down. A great effort by John Kyvig. He caught the ball and was tackled 2 yards short, but stretched out as he hit the sideline. And now the officials will have to take a good hard look at it.
Evenson trying to haul down a big load there. Nice effort to stay with him, but they're going to bring the chains out to measure this one. When I first saw it, I didn't think he would get it, but the way they're spotting it here might be closer than we thought.
Coming into today's game, Kelby Klosterman actually had better numbers in a lot of statistical categories than did Ryan Johnson. 646 passing yards and 7 touchdowns. Johnson 535 yards and 5 touchdowns. And Dale Lennon says Kelby Klosterman will be a very, very good one, but it may take him a little bit of time. You cannot speed up the learning curve entirely from the quarterback position. They mark it just short. It'll be 3rd down and inches from the NDSU 32-yard line. Tight formation for the Sioux. 4th down, 4th down. The Sioux will go for it. Klosterman on the keeper. Did he get enough?
Boy.
It will all depend on the spot. It looked like he got a little bit of a lean after the first hit came across. It's going to be very close.
There wasn't much room, if any, with all that traffic. So the chain gang's out again. Bison ball.
They didn't get it. NDSU holds on 4th down. The Bison turn away the Sioux offense, and it'll be first down NDSU at the 32. Write that down as maybe the key play of the game to this point. The Bison now with a 10-point lead and the football with 13:07 in the game.
Terrific surge by the Bison D-line. You see Gelstead in there, number 98, and a host of others. And a big momentum swing here with 13:07 to go. The Sioux offense still looking for its first touchdown.
Johnson back to pass, looking deep, throwing deep. The coverage is there, and it is no. Craig Riando caught the football, thought he had made an interception, but the officials say either he did not get a foot in bounds or he had 1 foot out of bounds before the one in bounds came down. Let's take another look.
Well, we have the benefit of replay, don't we? Right along the sidelines. Looked like his left foot was in before his right one was out.
That left foot came down very close to the sideline, and the official right down there said it hit the sideline.
His left foot was out, was the ruling.
Well, you thought NDSU might try to run a little clock with a 10-point lead, 13 minutes to play, but Johnson takes to the air on first down. Second down is Deshaun Perkins across the left side. He fights hard looking for yards, keeps the legs churning, gets out about as far as the 37-yard line.
Chuck Clabo and Brad Wagner having a few bumps and words after the play. And players retire to their neutral corners. Well, that's just the way Rob Bollinger used to do it. When he was the UND offensive coordinator, after a turnover or a big shift in momentum, they like to go for the kill, and the Bison tried it there. And it almost wound up costing them as a turnover, with a turnover.
Now Johnson out of the shotgun. Two receivers in, double tight end. Johnson under pressure, tries to get away, and he can't. Now he throws it up for grabs, and it's picked off. Dustin Thornburg makes the interception as Johnson threw it up as he was falling down. And Ryan Johnson got driven to the turf, adding injury to insult. 2 plays in the last 3. Ryan Johnson has made a couple of throws that he should not have made. And that's the danger in a game where there's so much emotion. You want so badly to make something good happen, but there's a case where Bob Babich would definitely like Ryan Johnson just to take that sack, and I'm sure Ryan would love to have that one back.
You've got to eat the ball in that situation because Josh Christopherson was all over him, and Johnson was just praying, well, it goes the other way.
So the Sioux are back in business at the Bison 27-yard line with 12:06 to play. Fosterman fake give, now he throws. Caught. Travis Headley at the 15-yard line, and that's a Sioux first down. And slowly but surely, the Sioux passing game is starting to click.
Big Travis Headley was Mr. Touchdown for the Sioux last year. He's had some injury trouble. He's coming off a banged-up shoulder, but his first reception of the day. He sat out last week's game with a suspension. But the Sioux back in business here, 11:48 to go.
First down and 10 on the Bison 15-yard line. Fosterman has one receiver to the right, backs in the eye behind him. Draw play, Perkarevich gets to the outside, trying to get to the corner, gets there to the 5. Touchdown, Jed Perkarevich! And how quickly the complexion of this game has changed. Perkarevich broke a tackle at about the 15-yard line and turned on the Jets to get to the corner for 6.
And it was the cornerback, Jay Hatley, I believe. No, it was Swanson there at the end, but I think Hatley had a chance at him at first. And Jed broke away, and the Sioux have a chance to pull within 3 now with Cameron Paterka, who has yet to miss this year.
And he has not missed yet. The point after is good. all of a sudden, the 10-point lead is gone. It's been trimmed to 3 with 11:30 to play. 16-13 NDSU.
By leasing, it'll give you a lower payment.
I don't know. A pickup?
Julie, that's a really low payment.
How about a test drive?
I'm driving.
Check out the 2000 Ford Ranger with switch-on-the-fly four-wheel drive, super cab, automatic V6 power, and a lease payment of just $139 a month.
We'll take that one.
Test drive a Ranger at your Northland Ford store.
Today's game is brought to you by Bremer and your local Northland Ford dealers. As we see so oftentimes, Pat, the pass can sometimes set up the run, and that's what happened here.
After the big gain to Travis Headley, Jed Perkarevich breaks through to the outside. Just stiff arms Hatley, leaves him in the wake and sneaks into the end zone despite the pressure from Swanson. Perkarevich's 4th touchdown of the game. And what did we say? 13:07 left in this quarter. It looked so bleak for the Sioux as they were stopped on 4th and inches. But that ill-advised throw by Ryan Johnson led to UND's touchdown. First touchdown of the day for the Sioux.
This is a completely different game than it was just a minute and a half ago. Cameron Paterka's kick, fair caught by Jared Peck at the 17-yard line.
They obviously don't want Lewis running one back. Wow. You know, this is such a departure, Steve, as you look back on the history of this rivalry in this building. How many times did we see the fans leaving early? I think everybody's going to stay in their seat to the end of this one, the way this is going.
Not only that, but the over-under was about 60 those first few games. And to this point, we have 29 points on the board with about 11 and a half minutes to play. Now the NDSU offense and quarterback Ryan Johnson a chance to redeem himself on this drive. Johnson, the keeper, turns it upfield. No gain. Riendo lending the initial support. And then Scott Schultz comes over from his nose tackle spot along with Mike George to make the stop.
Ross Sanus, 53, also in there for North Dakota. Sanus fighting off a block there, and he's the one who got to the quarterback. Got 11 minutes to go, and boy, it's hard to predict how this one will go, but right now the Sioux with the momentum.
Johnson, the quick out to Eric Nelson, knocked away. Good coverage by Craig Riendo coming up quickly to make the play.
Nelson had a step on Craig Riendo, but Riendo recovered quickly to get between Nelson and the ball. Quick reaction by Craig, the Grand Forks Red River product. And now the Bison are looking at 3rd and long here, leading by 3 with 10:45 to go.
Ryan Johnson has twin receivers left, one back, Lamar Gordon behind him. And now whistle sounds, the markers come in. And it looks like we'll have some sort of penalty on the NDSU offense. It will be a false start. And now it will not be 3rd and 7 anymore. It will be 3rd down and 12.
Tangen was the man in motion, 49.
Repeat the down.
And it's not so much that the Bison are committing a lot of penalties today, but they really seem to be coming at some awful times. Not that there's ever a good time for a penalty, but you don't want to be 3rd and 12 against this Sioux defense if you can help it.
Boy, how important has 1st down been today and 2nd down?
Johnson now out of the shotgun. He's got 3 receivers in the pattern. Drop play, Gordon trying to find some room. Not much there. Eric Schmidt on top. And Ryan Govan on the bottom, and it's going to be 4th down. NDSU will punt it away.
Bison trying to throw the Sioux with the delay, and they did not bite. Schmidt coming in from the side and Govan from behind, and UND doing just what it wants to do here with 10-12 to go and the clock running.
Aaron Peterson to punt. Luke Schleissner and Dan Graff back deep to receive. Johnson's punt, kind of an end-over-end deal. Schleissner makes the fair catch at his own 41-yard line. A little disappointed that he put up the hand when he saw he had a little bit of room in front of him. But the Sioux offense takes over in great field position at its own 41-yard line. They can tie the game with a field goal. They can take the lead with a touchdown.
You know, one thing we haven't talked about, we've talked about Scott Schultz all day, but probably the most talkative guy on the Sioux team did not want to talk to the media this week. I think he was in his zone for this game. Didn't want to stir the pot.
3 receivers out for UND. Klosterman at his own 41. Fake give. Now he tries to throw across his body. Smith has the catch inside the 40 at the 36 of North Dakota State.
Boy, just a phenomenal play on both ends. Klosterman is slow getting up. He had Leif Murphy all over him. Watch 43 coming in here. He hit him as he threw the ball. Wobbles a little, but Jesse Smith is there. Sioux lucky to get the ball away with Murphy coming in as fast as he did.
You need a strong arm to make that throw. Kind of threw it off his back foot into the flat. Klosterman now under center at the 37-yard line of NDSU. Pitch to Perkarevich. Fumble! Gets it back at his own, at the NDSU 43, and you could just see everybody rise or sneak to the front of their chairs there. But it bounced right back up to him. He covers up. It'll be a loss of about 5 yards, but the Sioux hang on to the football.
I don't mean to laugh. I mean, I'm just chuckling as to how many hearts are fluttering in this thing. We've got just a terrific game, and any little thing will just get everybody on the edge of their seats. A break for the Sioux.
2nd down and 15 now on the NDSU 42. Klosterman with a single receiver to the left. Backs in the eye behind him. Klosterman will keep. He's got some room. Dives inside the 40. Down to about the 37-yard line, the original line of scrimmage. Before he's tripped up. Leif Murphy part of the tackle, and he'll limp off to the sideline. Kelby Klosterman has great speed. He has really all the tools that you'd like to have in a quarterback. Got a great arm. Coach Lennon says he's got a good mind for the game. But when he does get in trouble, need to create some space, he can run it. He's got quick feet. And as we've seen today, he has a good knack for making it look like he's going to run and then pulling up and throwing the pass when the defense commits. 3rd and 10 now on the 37. The Bison bring the blitz. Klosterman escapes. Gets outside. Can he get to the corner? He will. Does he have enough for the 1st down? The official will mark it right at the 1st down marker.
Klosterman kind of jumped over that marker on the turf.
The nose of the football is right at the middle spot of the 1st down marker. The chains are on that side, so it won't take us long to find out. It is 1st down, UND.
Well, no sooner did you mention his athletic ability than he comes up with a play like that. He was also a very good baseball and basketball player in high school in Spearfish, South Dakota. Just a good all-around athlete.
So it's now 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line. 16-13 Bison with 8:18 to go. Klosterman pitched to Perkarevich, looking for some room. Nothing there. The left side of the Bison defense up to the task, as a host of defenders were there. Chad Simmers, Matt Swanson, Ryan Evenson, Clint Jelstead, everybody had a hand in that one.
A lot of green there in front of Jed Perkarevich. Again, Zahn unable to hold off the defender, and Tom Krenz was also in there too.
Bill Ehrenberg, I think, made the first contact. Again, we see 5, 6 defenders making tackles. Now 2nd and 11 on the 27 of NDSU. 7:34 to go and counting. Klosterman, fake give. Now throws deep, looking for Graff in the end zone. Just a bit overthrown. Graff had a step. The ball had to have been perfectly thrown. It was well thrown, but just a little bit past the outstretched fingers of Dan Graff. And boy, can that guy run.
He was in one-on-one coverage with Jay Hatley. And I don't know if we'll pick it up here. It looked like he broke away from Hatley there. I wonder if there was a little tug on the jersey. I'm not sure, so I can't say for sure. Just overthrown.
Looked like they might have got their feet tangled up a little bit inside the 5-yard line. At any rate, 3rd down and 11. The Bison again trying to hold the Sioux on a long 3rd down opportunity. 3 receivers in the pattern, single back behind Klosterman is Perkarevich. Klosterman now under pressure, escapes again. Can he get free again? No. This time the Bison defense holds at the 24-yard line.
I think we got a hold on the Sioux here.
I did not see the penalty flag, Pat.
Yep.
But there's the indication from the official. Now here's the question for NDSU. Do you take the penalty and move them back 10 yards, or do you take the play because it'll bring up a 4th down situation? 10 yards for Cameron Paterka here makes it, well, you're probably kicking it from about the 4, it'd be about a 55-yard field goal if they made no further progress.
Holding, offense, repeat the down.
The Bison will take the penalty.
Looked like number 68, Matt Knutson, the junior from Minot, got caught. I think it was him.
Leif Murphy on the big rush from the outside linebacker spot. Well, because the penalty happened back in the pass protection scheme, it's marked off from the point of the infraction, so this is a big penalty. Boy, almost no question to take that one then. Now it's 3rd down and about 28 to go at the NDSU 44. What does Dale Lennon have in his bag of tricks? Klosterman going deep, looking for the tight end Headley, and it is almost picked off by Matt Swanson. He was in great position and just had the ball go through his hand. And Pat, I think we'd have to say that that's the throw that Kelby Klosterman should not have made.
Well, you don't want to turn it over, certainly, Steve, but it looked to me like, I don't know if Headley got slowed up or if he just tripped over his own feet there.
Well, Matt Swanson definitely had the best chance of that. And boy, it looked like the Sioux were in business for a very makeable Cameron Paterka field goal, and all of a sudden they're punting from inside their own territory. A big stand by the Bison defense. Hildebrandt angling for the corner. And this is going to be good too. Inside the 5, but the man on the pass coverage, on the punt coverage, looked like he went into the end zone, but came out and apparently reestablished himself in the field of play. Stopped the ball on the 2-foot line.
Dornberg.
We've got 6:40 to play. 16-13 NDSU.
Your friends at MDU thought you could use a moment of quiet, relaxation, a brief moment to appreciate the simple things in life. It's all part of our role of being a safe, reliable provider. Montana Dakota Utilities Company, in your community to serve.
Prepare for the road ahead at North Dakota State University Fargo, offering 78 major courses of study. So get on the right road at NDSU, your major advantage.
Now I'm on the road to somewhere where all I need to know is right there.
A break for the Sioux, pinning the Bison inside their one, but look at where Dustin Thornburg's feet are. He's inside the end zone.
That ball should be on the 20-yard line right now. It will not be.
And you saw the official looking right at it.
Well, and let's not take anything away from Dustin Thornburg. Made a great play, gave his best effort to get it out there, but he had not even come close to reestablishing his feet in play. So the Bison offense in another situation that it has not been before. Backed up inside its 1-yard line. Johnson gives. Gordon trying to pick his way out of the end zone. Barely gets out of the end zone before he's wrapped up by a host of Sioux defenders. Well, you get a little nervous when your running back starts picking his hole in the end zone, and he just barely got back outside into the field of play.
Like big Ryan Govan got the arm on him and then got some help from Riondo and Dixon, and the Sioux have, we said it before, we'll say it again, they have 3 safeties already this season.
So now it is 2nd and 10. They'll say no gain. Give. Gordon again looking for some room. This time a little bit more, but not much. Gordon out to about the 3-yard line. Ross Sanis on the stop. Travis O'Neill in the middle. Ryan Govan again involved. Boy, we've called Ryan Govan's name a lot today. And now we'll see how creative Bob Babich wants to get deep in his own end. Tangen and Lure, fullback and tight end check out. 3 receivers out for NDSU on 3rd down and 7. 5:21 to play in the 4th quarter. Johnson back to pass. Gets good protection, now throws, and it's caught at the 13-yard line. First down, Mark Bratton out of Stanley, North Dakota makes the catch. His first grab of the game, and what a time to come up with it. First down NDSU, now on the 13-yard line.
Well, the Bison needed a big play, otherwise the Sioux were in great shape with 5 minutes to go. Bratton open. Thornburg stops him. Clock on the move now with 5 minutes to go, but most importantly for the Bison, it keeps their drive alive. They're still in their own territory pretty deep, but they have the ball.
And a tip of the cap to the NDSU offensive line. Gave Ryan Johnson plenty of time to throw. Now with 4:49 to go, NDSU has a first down. Lamar Gordon breaks into the secondary.
Ooh.
And just a couple guys in his way. Out close to another first down. It'll be a gain of about 8 to the NDSU 23.
The Sioux were blitzing there, and that was almost a huge gain for NDSU. Thornburg coming in again to knock him down, but Sioux almost, as Roger Thomas used to say, shooting themselves in the foot.
2nd down and 1 on the 23. Lure leading the way for Gordon. Finds a hole. Has a first down and more. Across the 30-yard line out to near the 31. And the clock continues to roll. Under 4 minutes now to play.
It's just amazing how this guy can just shed blockers like they're nothing. Mike O'Neill, the free safety, is still shaking his head. Here he's got a shot at him, number 38, and Lamar just ducks out of it. Picks up another yard or 2.
That is the biggest difference between Lamar Gordon of last year and this year. He put on about 20 pounds in the offseason, and we've seen him break tackles this year that we did not see him escape last season.
Quick feet and a quick head.
And now Lamar Gordon has got to be up near 100 yards. Give Gordon again. This time finds a little room off the right side. Again, a nice hole at the point of attack, but again, great pursuit. Craig Riondo on run support. Mike George again, and Mike George is not listed as a starter, but Pat, he has played a ton this afternoon.
Well, Mike used to be a starter before his injury, and the Sioux have so many guys that could start. They're very deep defensively. But Mike George, after taking a year off, just is not listed as a starter. Now you get into the question of it's 3:05 and time is counting down. The Sioux have 3 timeouts left, the Bison 2 timeouts left, and it becomes a game of ball control here.
Lamar Gordon up to 114 rushing yards. This is Deshaun Perkins running hard. Out across the 40-yard line, out to the 41. And he's up near another first down, but another unwelcome sight. An NDSU offensive player staring up at the ceiling. This looks like Craig Tangen, the sophomore tight end.
And a Sioux man is down too, right behind him there, and I can't quite make out the number. You know it's tough when one from each side is knocked out. Perkins, a tough runner. And it was Scott Schultz of UND getting off under his own power. That time Mike O'Neill gave him a pop.
Did not see the injury to Tangen on that play,
No.
Pat. And of course, when you're playing on the AstroTurf, sometimes it can be as simple as trying to change directions. We're going to take a quick break. There's 2:51 to play. NDSU clinging to a 3-point lead.
I think the quality of education that I have received has been absolutely phenomenal.
I really believe that UND has a lot for a lot of different people. It's a beautiful campus. It's a wonderful town, and I just really liked everything that UND offered to me.
Rex says, go for the gold, because every price is a winner at Rex. Get gold medal savings on this Sony DVD CD player with Precision Drive and Dolby Digital for just $249. Rex has this Panasonic Palm Quarter with 2.5-inch color LCD monitor for just $399. And buy this Quasar by Panasonic 51-inch stereo projection TV with screen shield and 2-tuner picture-in-picture for $12.99. And get a Hi-Fi VCR free. Terrific value, terrific price, right now at Rex.
While we were away, Craig Tangen walked off the field under his own strength. Could have been a wind knocked out of him sort of a deal, or got his bell rung a little bit. But it did not look serious as he came off the field. That's good news for NDSU fans. Well, Pat, you got 2:51 to play. If you're UND now, you're looking at another 1st and 10 for the Bison. You got to think pretty soon you're going to need a 3-and-out.
No question about it, Steve. I mean, if the Bison can keep eating this clock up, they're in great shape. If they can score, they'll be in even better shape. But if you stop them, then the Sioux have a chance to turn around and kick a field goal and tie this game. And do we dare think about that nasty 8-letter word that starts with an O?
No, we don't.
Not yet.
The Sioux defense has played very hard, but on this big late 4th quarter drive, the NDSU offensive line has been up to the task. Johnson fake pitch, tries to get to the corner. Now he's buried as Eric Schmidt, a man down, makes the tackle. There is a penalty flag on the play, and Pat, it looked like one of the UND defenders possibly lined up in the neutral zone on the near side.
And it is against the Sioux.
Outside. Go on, take.
Big break for NDSU.
I think one of the UND outside linebackers lined up even with the football, and you cannot do that. .245 to play now. It's 16-13 NDSU. And this will bring up a 1st and 5. So the chances of NDSU getting another 1st down get that much better with half the distance to go. Bison in a tight formation. Give to Gordon up the middle. Not much there. Scott Schultz from his nose tackle spot making the first tackle. And the Sioux will let the clock run with 2:06 to play. And just doing the quick math, Pat Sweeney, if the UND Sioux can hold here and force a punt, if they do not take timeouts, the clock will be well under a minute to play.
That's why they're trying to save him, I'm sure, as Eric Schmidt gets a tackle for a loss.
Now they will take a timeout. It is their first charged timeout of the game, of the second half. The Sioux have 2 timeouts left. It's 3rd and 4 on the NDSU 47-yard line.
Midwest Region poll looks like this. Defending national champ Northwest Missouri State at #1. The Bison 2nd, the Sioux 3rd, Pittsburgh State of Kansas 4th. And the key is you want to be in the top 4 at the end of the season because those teams go to the playoffs.
And if you can be one of the top 2 teams, you get to host a first-round playoff game. If you're the #1 team, you could possibly host 2 of the first 2 playoff games.
And if the season ended today, these teams here would be playing again right here next week. But a lot of season left.
Well, the shame of it in the NCC is the teams week in and week out are so good that if you lose in conference play, it reflects negatively, of course, in the Midwest region poll. And you may find an NCC team a little bit further down the line than maybe a team you think they should be in front of just because they have a loss in a tough conference. NCC standings, there are 4 teams right now that are unbeaten in league play. NDSU, the Sioux, the Jackrabbits, and Nebraska Omaha are all 2-0. UNO has 1 loss overall. And then Augustana, a team that I think, Pat, is going to surprise a few people, got a great passing game this year. They are 1-1. So that's a look at your top shelf in the NCC standings. Well, now a big play with 1:40 to go, 3rd down and 4. Lure leading the way for Gordon. Gordon trying to get to the outside. Nothing there. Turns it back in. And he's thrown down by Ryan Govan. And again, we are talking about big number 96. And the Sioux will burn their 2nd time out of the half. There's 1:33 to go. And they will have the ball back with about 1.5 minutes to play.
Govan's a playmaker. He's the kind of guy that other teams have to account for. Plays very hard, and that's why the pros are looking at him and Scott Schultz. Now that leaves the Sioux with 1 timeout.
I'm struck by the similarity to last year's game. It was NDSU getting the ball deep in its own territory with time running down, a 3-point deficit. And on that day, the UND defense stood up to the task and would not let the Bison get much of anything accomplished deep in its own end.
And they just backed them up and backed them up further and further away from their goal and back deeper into their own end. Here's another look. Gordon, I think he bumped into Lure there on the play, actually, as Lure got plugged up. Nice stop by the Sioux D, and the tug-of-war continues.
Well, after the passing heroics we saw earlier in the 4th quarter, the Sioux defense gambling that the Bison weren't going to be throwing in that case. And they guessed right. Dan Graff now getting back in punt formation. Aaron Peterson deep to kick it for NDSU.
One thing I should mention, Steve, the Sioux have never trailed in a game until today, so we'll see what they're made of.
The Sioux line up as though they're coming. And they are. Good protection, and Peterson booms a high, deep kick inside the 10. It bounces into the end zone. Well, Aaron Peterson got all of it. The only thing he didn't get was a friendly bounce. He got one of those a little while ago. The ball caroms into the end zone, and the Sioux will have 80 yards to go. In 1:25, they have 1 timeout and 1 pretty ornery defense across the line from them. But Kelby Klosterman has shown shades of being a great college quarterback in this game, especially in the second half. Here we go. 85 seconds to crown the champion in the 107th meeting of the Bison and the Sioux. Klosterman back to pass. Fake give. Now steps up. Looking deep. Schleissner. And it's overthrown. Mike Rowan on the corner. Travis Sturdivant from his free safety spot. Good coverage. It'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Schleissner found the opening. Just the ball overthrown by Kelby Klosterman, but it does stop the clock with 1:18 to go.
We've seen a lot of Mike Rowan in the second half, and earlier, Pat, we talked about the lick that Jay Hadley delivered to Jed Perkarovich and vice versa. You wonder if Jay Hadley is still a little bit hampered. Well, there he is back out on the field. It looked like just a regular rotation. 2nd and 10 for the Sioux at their 20. Bison showing blitz. Now they back off. Klosterman looks to throw, tripped up. Now down he goes at the 13-yard line. Leif Murphy with some early pressure. Tommy Krenz with some late pressure. And Kelby Klosterman sacked for an 8-yard loss. Excuse me, a 6-yard loss. Now we're under a minute to play. A big 3rd down conversion attempt. 3rd and 16. And the crowd rises. Klosterman looks for a receiver, now in trouble. Scrambles, finds some room, gets to the outside, but he's tripped up by Chad Simmers. With 37 seconds to play, Dale Lennon calls his final timeout. And if Chad Simmers does not get an ankle hold on Kelby Klosterman, he may have scared that 1st down marker.
Boy, when you said this is reminiscent of last year, you weren't kidding. This is complete role reversal. The Bison causing all sorts of problems for the Sioux deep in their end. The Bison defense kind of overshadowed by the offense. A lot of talk going into this game was about the Sioux defense, but the Bison defense have matched them play for play.
Bob Babbage is the offensive coordinator for NDSU, but never real shy about getting in the defensive huddle when it's called for.
Klosterman bumps into his own man. He's able to get a few yards out of it, but as you said, the Bison are thanking goodness for Chad Simmers on that toe tackle. No timeouts left and 37.2 seconds to go.
Well, you probably have to get it down to about the 43 or so of NDSU. That would be a 60-yard field goal. So the Sioux, if they could get another about 45 yards, the problem is now you have to get the yardage and be able to stop the clock. The Bison defense can sense something special. Are they one play away from ending a 3-year losing streak to UND in the Fargo Dome? 3-game losing streak in the Fargo Dome. Kelby Klosterman hopes they're not. The rush is on. Klosterman steps up, now buys more time.
Nobody open.
For a receiver, there's nobody there. And he throws it away. The Bison have held. And NDSU with 26.4 seconds to play.
Flag down.
Takes over.
No flag.
There's no foul.
Inadvertent flag.
Ryan Evenson. Arms up to the sky. Andrew LeClaire.
Sioux have an injured man down right in front of the Bison bench. So we're going to have a delay here. But what a job by the defensive backfield. Klosterman had no one in the clear. And it was just like feeding time to the Wolves as the Bison just converged on him. And we're still trying to check on who this injured player is.
Now, we don't want to say the game is over because we saw a quick change of events early in the 4th quarter. But with 26 seconds to play and no timeouts for UND, all that Ryan Johnson has to do is get the snap cleanly from center and take a knee.
Luke Schleissner, the Sioux receiver, is the injured player, and he is walking off on his own. So the Bison Come up with the huge defensive stop, the one that matters here. And will likely improve to 3-0. 5-0 overall. The Sioux will be 2-1, 4-1 overall.
There are some pretty hardy bear hugs on the NDSU sideline. Johnson takes the knee, and that'll do it. The Bison have beaten UND in the Fargo Dome. And the nickel is in the hands of the boys wearing the green and yellow shirts. Bubba Kopp with the hostile coup of the nickel. Babbage thanking his fans in the NDSU student section. And there it is. 75 pounds, never felt so light. Eric Nelson said earlier this week, the seniors feel as though we've won all the games we're supposed to win. But the games where maybe there was a doubt, we haven't done as well. Eric Nelson has a new way to talk about that situation tonight. Dan is with Bob Babbage. Dan.
Thanks, Steve. Bob, 16-13, a little tough start. What'd you tell the guys at halftime, tied at 3?
Well, we just told them we were going to play our football game. I just want to say, first of all, UND is an unbelievable football team, and we were just very fortunate today that we came out on top. I'd also like to say that our players fought and scratched, and they got it done. We lost a starting tackle on the first play. We lost a starting offensive guard, and we're so proud of our guys for to keep fighting, and it's just an outstanding atmosphere. And once again, this is an unbelievable game for the state of North Dakota, both universities, and I'm just very lucky and fortunate to be a part of it, and I'm just proud to be a part of it.
Talk about your defense. You guys stepped up to the plate. Everyone was talking about how stingy the Sioux defense was. Only one touchdown allowed by both teams, but 4 solid plays to end the game for your defense.
Well, I'll tell you, our defense has done an outstanding job all year long. They've given up 2 touchdowns in 5 games. The first team defense has, and I'm just proud, once again of them. And once again, UND, they came out and they never quit. They kept fighting, and it was an unbelievable deal. And it's exciting. It's an exciting time, and we're just fortunate that we came out with the victory.
Bob, how rewarding is it to see that nickel floating around the Fargo Dome, and now you can go get your hands on that thing?
You know what? The nickel's very important, but I'll tell you what, it's an unbelievable game in the NCC. We got to rally around our injured players. We're going to enjoy this victory tonight, but we got a tough Augustana club next week, and it's just we got to rally around our injured players.
All right, Bob, go lift some 75 pounds. Now joining us, Aaron Peterson. 3 field goals today. Petey, you kept keeping the field goals going, and how important is it just to give your team a confidence? They drive the ball hard and maybe don't get in the touchdown, but you can come in confident-wise and get 3 points for your team.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. A lot of times teams will drive down. If you miss the field goal, it hurts the whole team. So if I stay confident and keep kicking, it gives a boost for our offense.
Last year up there maybe not have been the best circumstance for you. How rewarding is it to come in here and be 3 for 3?
It's the greatest feeling. Last year, I missed 2 field goals, and, it ended up being the difference. This year, I'm glad I could just be on the other end of the stick.
Talk about the difference. What was said maybe in the locker room? 3-3, slow start for both teams. Come out, it was a heck of a game for both teams in the second half.
We thought we had them right where we wanted them. We were starting to drive on them. Our offense was starting to dominate their defense, and we thought we had them right where we needed to. So we just had to go out and execute.
All right, Aaron Peterson, thank you very much. Congratulations. Aaron Peterson, 3 field goals. Steve and Pat, back up to you. We're looking for more.
Thanks very much, Dan. There are some very happy Bison on this field today, and just looking at each player holding that nickel trophy with so much pride today. And every player just waiting to get his hands on it when it's his turn. Pat, we talked about special teams coming in as being a strength of both teams, and it was a special teams play, you could say? from two different factors that made the difference. The Pooch kickoff attempt that bounced into Matt Swanson's arms, and then NDSU followed that up with an Aaron Peterson field goal. You want to talk about special teams being the difference, there you had it.
And that turned out to be the margin of victory because that made it 16-6 with 41 seconds left. You got to tip your hat to the defenses. Only one touchdown allowed for each team. Lamar Gordon did get 100 yards rushing, but the Sioux didn't let him run wild. It did come down to special teams, as Dale Lennon predicted. One more field goal for the Bison.
And when the Bison needed a couple of first downs late in the game to milk the clock, the offensive line delivered, minus 2 starters. Along with Pat Sweeney, Dan Ashworth, and our entire technical crew. Thanks very much for spending some time with us in the Fargo Dome this afternoon. I'm Steve Hallstrom saying good afternoon from Fargo, where the Bison have beaten the Sioux 16-13.
Attention Earthlings, the search is over for the best dining experience in the entire universe. Come inside, relax, and enjoy at